Here we go again. Listen up, all you fucking lefty loons. Tell me how's it feel in 2025 to be stuck on a Democratic plantation? I wouldn't know I left it in 2016 to vote for the world's most legendary president. Donald J. Trump, all your Democrat slave traders hold you all hostage with their Schumer. Shut down. They have you in the streets crying. No kings, no kings, no kings. You lefty loons are disgraceful with your victim mentality. While they launder our taxes into their hefty bank accounts, living lavishly like kings and queens off all of our money with their dirty kickbacks. While you struggle to make it from 1 month to the next, they lie and they scheme, they spit in your face while you beg them for more. While MAGA fights the damn system that enslaved and sold our children, selling out our great nation. You play in the streets crying. No kings, no kings, no kings. You lefty loons are disgraceful with your victim mentality. Shut the fuck up and follow the money. Stuck in your fantasy land, made up lies of the loony left. Got you calling for the death of our American president, who stands in the way to an evil that dwells. Just remember when you wake up from the demon rat illusion, the men and women who stood in sacrifice for the sanctity God's given. Freedom, freedom, freedom. Wake up, you fucking zombies, and join us in the land of patriotism. Take off all your blinders. I can tell you never read our nation's constitution. Throwing fits in the streets will get you nowhere. Real Americans know our children's future hangs in the balance. You will never win this war. For our constitutional values, God's laws are supreme. His commandments redeem. While you're screaming no king, we sing Jesus is king.
Just remember Trump is your president.
$105 billion. They wanna fund illegal aliens, food, housing, and bills. You look stupid crying. No kings protesting in the streets for democratic kickbacks. They don't care about you. They don't care about them all. They really want is power and money. They sold out our nation to foreign and domestic enemies. The cartel held power, now they weaken the knees. Thanks to our commander-in-chief, Trump saving the world. And all you losers wish him dead. Deport yourself and save the shame of calling you our fellow Americans. But before you go, we want to thank you for naming our great president, Trump, the new king of the world. You lefty loons made history and don't even realize it. There's two groups of elites. Those who want to rule you with power and money, keeping you slaves in the system that beat you. I gotta ride with our president and his group of elites who want to live in harmony, returning power to the people living in peace. Through God's commandments, long live the king. Our great American president, Donald J. Trump. Your king, your king, your king. Ha, 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 ha. Your king, your king, your king. Ha, 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 ha. Your king, your king, your king. Ha, 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 ha. Your king, your king, your king.
Wow, that was pretty good, wasn't it? I heard that, and I don't know if it's gonna. I don't know if I'm gonna get hit, if I'm gonna get clipped for the sound or the music. If I do, I do. Whatever. I had to play it. It was just too good. It was just too good, too good. Yes, and look at that first thing coming. All right. With that $5, my friends, for the start of the show, really, really big show. As usual, there's a goal tonight, and that $5 is going to go towards the goal. For every $75 in total that comes in across all platforms, Cash App, PayPal, Rumble Rants, YouTube Super Chats, gifted memberships on YouTube, memberships on Rumble, gifted memberships on Rumble, gifted memberships on Twitch, locals coins, you name it, I will extend the show by 1 hour for every $75 in total that comes in. Also, if any individual donation comes in of $25 or greater, Bellavision will be activated. And Bellavision looks like that, Bellavision looks like, will be activated at $25 individual donation. Or once we hit the first $50 in total donations, Bellavision is activated. So with that $5, that brings us to $70 away from the first additional hour and $45 away from Bellavision. Thank you very much, AHA. Amazing intro. Well, thank you. I thank you. Let's see who's here today. Let's do this. Yes. So G-Shark, man, as always, is number one. And then Sunshine's here. How you doing, Sunshine? Brian Ogden likes to be number 3. And Jonathan Marcos says, good evening, everyone. Daniel's here. What's up, Dan? How you doing? Terry's here. Michelle, how you doing? SB Farmer's here. Sharon Tyler's here. How you doing? Woodtick Mike, what's up? How you doing? None of your business. Great to see you. What the F? What's going on? Audra's here. Awesome. Jody, how you doing? Linda's here. And of course, AHA was here with the 5. Thank you very much, AHA. I don't know, Sunshine, Nanny Goat, what you doing? And then Anonymous Dodo, what's up? And Nafola's here. No Jabski's here. Catherine K is here. Pat Hacker's here. Who else is here? Okay, that's everybody that's here. All right. I got a couple other quick little video clips that I thought were really funny. So I'm going to play those before we get into the first story. So, I'm going to do this. I don't know. You guys if you've seen these already, I apologize. I didn't play these yet, so let's see.
I'm trans-indigenous.
Trans-indigenous.
Are you cis-American? I'm trans-indigenous for ICE. We love ICE.
You love ICE.
We love ICE. We love ICE. Deport them all. You're all trespassers on our land.
Well,
Trans-indigenous people are indigenous people, and you're all trespassers on our land, and we want Bovino to deport all of you guys. We love ICE. Trans natives love ICE. We love you, ICE.
what nation are
We
you
love
from?
ICE. The trans nation. Trans nation is just as valid as cis nations. You're not trans-native phobic, are you?
No, but I'm
Okay,
not
I'm
familiar
just
with
checking.
that term. I'm hoping you could.
You're a cis-American. I'm trans-indigenous. You really need to check your privilege because you're talking to a beautiful trans-indigenous person of color right now.
I believe that I am. And I'm hoping to learn more about your perspective.
I'll educate you. Because you're cis-pigmented and I'm trans-pigmented. And I'm trying to educate you.
So
My name's Walking Tomahawk.
Walking Tomahawk, okay. I'm Chad.
Chad, nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you.
Walking Tomahawk and Chad here out supporting ICE because we love ICE. They need to deport all the cis illegals that came here illegally. We love ICE. I speak for all Native American people when I say we love ICE. We love ICE.
Native land.
And trans indigenous people are indigenous people, and this is my land. And you need to check your privilege. Because you're talking to a beautiful, trans-pigmented, trans-indigenous man of color.
What do you mean by trans-pigmented?
I was assigned white at birth by my parents' bigoted doctor, but I identify as Native American.
Okay, fantastic.
And trans natives are natives, and we're just as valid as cis natives. Sound familiar?
Not exactly.
It's gender ideology.
Gender ideology, okay.
Oh, and of course, in response to that video, we have this. This is the Democrat response. You know how you always have you have the State of the Union, and then after the State of the Union, you'll have the Democrat response. Well, this is the Democrat response to that video.
Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. You matter. You matter. And I am fighting for you. And I will not stop. I will not stop today. I will not stop tomorrow. You are loved. You matter. You belong here. Trans
People voted for this person. Can you believe that? That lady has nuts. Yeah, definitely. And she's going to plop a blood vessel. Holy moly. What the fuck? Wow, this lady's nuts. Yes. Yeah, use their absurd arguments, throw it back in their faces. Abraham Lincoln, probably. Yeah, that's what I say. Wow. Well, time's up. Brain dead. Hey, Peggy, how you doing? Great to see you. Saxony, great to see you too. Oh, you too, Sydney. What's up? Pop or poop? One of the two, yeah. Tomorrow, guess what New York gets? Man. What time are you leaving? You talking to me? I don't know. Soon? Hey, Sylvia, what's up? Nice to see you. So this is tomorrow what New York gets. Well, I don't know, man. I have faith. I think it might actually be a lot closer than people are trying to let on. I think a lot of these races, I think they're playing with the numbers. They're trying to make a big deal about New Jersey and Virginia, like, oh, if the Republicans don't win New Jersey or Virginia, or if New York goes for Mandami, that just spells the end for Trump. It's like New York City votes is like a plus 50 Democrat city. What do you think's going to happen? And when's the last time there was a Republican governor of New Jersey or, Virginia? It's usually always blue. I mean, it's very rare. I mean, they had that one Republican governor for 4 years, but then before that it was Democrat for 20 years. I mean, it's hello. So let's jump right into the first story here of the night. It says the Trump administration faces a Monday deadline to tell the courts how it will fund SNAP. The Trump administration is facing a Monday deadline to tell courts how it will fund the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, as it's better known, before the court orders the Agriculture Department plan to freeze SNAP's payments starting November 1st because it said it could no longer continue to pay.
Over at justthenews.com.
continue to funding due to the government shutdown. And about 1 in 8 Americans are on SNAP. So think about that. 1 in 8 Americans are on SNAP. What? Okay, or food assistance, which costs about $8 billion a month nationally. No, it's more than $8 billion. It's over $9 billion. Stop playing games with the numbers here. Federal judge in Rhode Island and Massachusetts on Friday ruled separately that the administration must continue to pay for SNAP, but allowed it to determine whether to fund the program partially or in full for November. Oh, that was nice of him. On Friday, Trump said that he does not want Americans to go hungry just because the radical Democrats refused to do the right thing and reopen the government. He added that he was telling government lawyers to prepare SNAP payments as soon as possible. And the administration has not said whether it intends to fully or partially fund SNAP. And a total of 25 Democrat-led states, Washington, D.C., challenged the administration in court over the plan to pause the SNAP benefits. And Brian Ogden with a gifted Jim Tells You membership. Hey, thank you, Brian. And with that gifted membership, let's see who got it there. It says Woodham. Woodham got a gifted membership. Well, Woodham, make sure you thank Brian Ogden. Make sure you thank him. Thank him. Hey, life isn't different. Hey, long time no chat. What's up? How you doing? And with that, that puts us at, let's see here, $64 away from the first additional hour and $39 away from Bellavision. Your knuckles deep in a Klondike right now? Is that some kind of, are you in Alaska? And it's, anyway. U.S. District Judge O'Connell in Rhode Island said SNAP must be funded using contingency funds and asked for an update on progress by Monday in a Saturday order. He also said if the government makes full payments, it must do so by the end of the day Monday. If the administration chooses partial payments, it would need to be issued by Wednesday. How does that make sense? If you're going to pay in full, it can be done Monday, but if you can only pay partially, it has to be done by Wednesday. In Massachusetts, U.S. District Judge Indira Talwani ruled that the suspension of SNAP benefits was unlawful and said that the USDA must pay for SNAP. She ordered the federal government to report by Monday. Has everybody already commented on the sound? Are you talking about my voice or the soundboard? Yeah, yes, it's not wimpy. Is the sound working or is the sound too loud? What was the problem with the sound? I tried to correct the problem. There was like an issue before where the soundboard, the sounds weren't playing. It was just doing like thumps, and it was like StreamYard was like doing something, and I shut all the stuff off, so I don't know. Sounds good to you? Okay. Sounds like a fan is blowing when you speak. Well, I mean, there is a fan blowing on the computer. I don't know if that's what you're picking up when I'm talking, when I break the gate on the Wimpy is I'll take a burger today. Okay. The soundboard actually worked. Yeah, the problem is if I put the background noise filter OD deal, I don't know what that means. If I put the sound is fine. Okay. If I put the background noise filter on, it will the soundboard will sound weird because it's like cuts that sound out for some reason. I don't know. But yeah, Talwani ruled the suspension was unlawful and said the USDA must pay. She ordered the federal government to report by Monday whether it will use emergency reserves for November or fully fund the program until both contingency funds and additional available funds. You never heard it before, but all good. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I hear my computer running, but there's nothing I can do about that. And it says half of SNAP benefits approved by the Trump administration. So the Trump administration will issue partial supplemental nutrition assistant benefits this Monday. they're going to do. They're going to issue partial supplemental nutrition assistance benefits this month on an ongoing federal government shutdown stretches towards historic length, while Senate Democrats still refuse to work with the GOP in the coming to deal with to reopen the government. On Monday, GOP officials told a federal judge that the U.S. Department of Agriculture will draw on contingency funds. Why would it be GOP officials? Why wouldn't it be government officials? To provide partial food assistance to millions of Americans who rely on the program. Two judges recently ordered the USDA to use the contingency funds. Under the new plan, the SNAP recipients are expected to receive half their normal monthly benefit, though the timing of payments may vary by state. New applicants for November will not receive assistance. Since the contingency fund is being fully depleted for existing households, $0 remain for anyone newly certified in November. New applicants will receive no benefits until Congress passes a full year appropriation and the shutdown ends. Sounds like there's a snare drum effect going on with my voice. I don't know what that could be. I don't know. Is it clipping my voice out? I gotta listen to what I sound like. Huh. I don't hear it. I don't hear what you're talking about. I don't hear what you're talking about. Take the snare off the microphone. I don't have a snare on the microphone. More cowbell. I can't play cowbell until someone does donate something. That's how that works. My sound is fine. Okay, you don't hear it. All right. Thanks for the membership, Woodham says. All right, it sounds fine now. Okay. The Trump administration is partly funding SNAP following court order. Federal judges directed the government to keep the food aid program running amid the shutdown, providing temporary relief for millions of Americans. Subscribe to OANN Live here. So let's see.
Well, the Trump administration is set to partially fund SNAP as Congress fails to pass a spending bill to allocate the money. Today's decision is in response to a pair of judges' rulings requiring the administration to keep the food aid program running. The USDA had planned to freeze payments to the program November 1st because it could no longer fund it due to the shutdown, as the House has the power of the purse. The program serves about 1 in 8 Americans, costing about $8 billion per month. Nationally, the average monthly payout is usually around $190 per person, but it is unclear how much beneficiaries will receive under this temporary solution.
Mm-hmm. All right. I don't know. What's needed for Bellavision? Either the $25 for Bellavision or $39 in total. So a single $25 donation or a Bellavision of single $25 or $39 in total of multiple donations. So either one first, whatever comes in first. So there's that. So the shutdown stems from a budget impasse because between the White House and congressional Democrats over what Democrats have labeled spending priorities. It has closed or curtailed operations at multiple federal agencies and furloughed hundreds of thousands of government workers. The Trump administration has not yet stated how long the contingency funds for SNAP will last. They're going to last not even a month. However, USDA officials indicated that reserves could sustain the partial payments only through the end of the month unless Congress approves new appropriations. Meanwhile, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer continues to solely blame President Trump and his administration for the ongoing SNAP turmoil. On the flip side, Republicans maintain that Schumer and Senate Democrats are contributing to the SNAP funding crisis by repeatedly blocking Republican-led continuing resolutions to reopen the government. For instance, Senate Democrats led by Schumer have voted against House passed a bill multiple times, which would have funded SNAP and other programs as it didn't meet their demands, such as extending Obamacare subsidies. It's Schumer pins the blame solely on the president, completely ignoring Democrats' role in the prolonged shutdown. Additionally, his prior claim that every day gets better for Democrats during the shutdown is seen by many as a cynical admission that his party is leveraging crisis, including SNAP disruption, for political gains. I mean, that's what's going on. Everybody can see it. You know, the court spoke loudly. They spoke clearly. Donald Trump cannot block SNAP benefits and treat hungry Americans as political pawns. That's exactly what he's doing. Providing partial benefits is not enough. Where's he supposed to get the money from, Chuck? Where's he supposed to get the money from, Chuck? Oh, came in with 25 for Bellavision. Thank you so much for the $25 here. Oops, 25. Thank you very much for the 25 on Cash App there. Ag. And with that, we will switch to this one. Pick, now we are 39 away from the first additional hour. Way to go, Ag. Thank you, Ag. And we're not going to listen to Chuck talk because all he does is lie. Let me fix this. 1 second. Okay. Big news day. Wonder if Nancy P wants a distraction. Well, she's talking about retiring. That's up in the news. I don't know. Replace Schumer's name for Trump's, and that quote is accurate. Yeah. Lying liars who lie. That's what it is. Yes. Thank you. Oh, wait, I got to fix it. Yeah, I forgot. Fix it. Fix me. Okay, let me fix Bella. Okay, boom. Yeah, I don't want to listen to Chuck. And from Just the News, it says the Trump administration announces partial funding for SNAP following court orders. The administration on Monday announced it will partially fund SNAP benefits, aka food stamps, after multiple federal judges ordered them to keep the benefits flowing. Roughly 42 million people currently receive SNAP benefits, averaging 190 per month. That's it. That's the story. That's all there is. And from Timcast here, it says food stamps gone. Food stamps gone. Family caught looting, says Post. Judge orders Trump to pay. Tim Pool. Well, let's see.
And it has begun. The snap-pocalypse. Food stamps did not go out. Donald Trump faces a deadline. A judge says you have to fund it. Donald Trump says, okay, how? There's not enough money. In the emergency fund, there's less than what you'd need to actually pay for it, and no mechanism to calculate reduced benefits or a system by which we determine what reduced benefits would be. Another judge has issued a conflicting ruling saying, well, we can't force Trump to do this, but we'll revisit if he doesn't. We don't know what's going to happen, but what I can say is, while it's not definitive, there are some videos popping up that show looting or shoplifting or countermeasures being put in place to prevent mass looting in this, the snappocalypse, where 42 million people have lost their food stamps. First, we got this video posted by Davis Harris Jr. that purports to
Yeah, he said he looks like Antifa. Let's see what we got here. So we got a video here. Let's see.
Kelvin, no EBT. Open the door.
So you got the.
I don't know. I don't know if it's true or not. Oh, we saw a bunch of these videos. We already watched them, so we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with more of this stuff. But there's some other things I wanted to get into, like this. Yes, Tim Pool looks like Antifa. He got his starts. You got to start over there with that Occupy Wall Street stuff, which is basically where all that Antifa stuff started. So this says, holy smokes, it's been exposed. Wasn't there like 20 plus governors that said they wouldn't fund it from state monies? They don't have the monies. Like New York, it's almost $1 billion. It's almost $1 billion a month for New York. They don't have that extra $1 billion. They don't have the money. That having the baby run out just isn't right. So I'm wondering if that's real or if they just set that up. Like they said, here, run out. We're going to film this. So, holy smokes, it's been exposed that nearly 1/3 of Los Angeles County's 3.3 million households rely on EBT welfare benefits. Gavin Newsom and Democrats have officially failed the people. EBT is not meant to be a way of life. We have big issues. Big issue.
I'm here at the Kia Forum parking lot where the Los Angeles Regional Food Bank has set up temporary food relief for families and individuals whose SNAP benefits have been affected by the government shutdown. Now, 2 U.S. judges yesterday did order the Department of Agriculture to release contingency funding to restart the SNAP benefits. But those funds may not reach families who are hungry for up to a week.
SNAP CalFresh benefits are not going out. We have nearly 1 million households in Los Angeles County that rely on CalFresh benefits. So this is the first of many large-scale distributions. So here we have volunteers, over 120 volunteers, who are all lined up to distribute frozen chicken, shelf-stable food items, pantry items, yogurt, carrots, potatoes, apples.
Our elected officials are letting us down because, we vote and put these people in office, and they tend to get a personal vendetta going with each other and forget about the main thing, which is the people.
We'll be serving 5,000 households, and we do expect that we will run out of food, sadly. There are other food pantries throughout Los Angeles County that we partner with that are also distributing food today. There's distributions pretty much every day in the week throughout Los Angeles County.
You can read more about the Los Angeles Regional Food Bank's drive-through food relief efforts in the LA Times.
This is crazy. It's nuts. Yeah, no, CalFresh from state subverting the illegals federal law. Yeah, drive up service. Yeah, you pull up, they put it in your car. I mean, I don't know. Cali sucks. Timmy P and Civil War, listening too much, Guns N' Roses. Yeah. Food pantry and people with brand new cars in line. Yeah, these people aren't just there getting free shit. I mean, it's like, oh, why buy? I could buy this stuff. And then they're going to end up getting the SNAP stuff anyway. So they're over here taking this stuff, and then they're going to get the SNAP benefits anyway. So I don't know, man. I don't want anyone to go hungry, but we really do have to make some corrections. The numbers don't lie, but context does. LA County's welfare dependency isn't about EBT being a way of life. It's systemic failure. Democrats funnel billions into bloated Medicaid, $55 billion in annual waste, while ignoring eligibility fraud and the emergency room misuse by non-citizens. Newsom's policies prioritize illegal immigration over citizens and collapsing the safety nets. Vance nailed it. Medicaid is failing from both sides. Illegal entries and bureaucratic theft. Taxpayer-funded care should serve Americans first, not fund a border crisis. Yeah, this is crazy. This is going to blow your mind. There's approximately 3,208,000 80,000 households in Los Angeles, and nearly 1 million households in Los Angeles are on EBT. USDA and county data shows 31% of LA County is on food stamps. Yeah, no one in the U.S. is poor. I mean, not. It depends on your standards of poor. I mean, you've got poor people. They say they're poor in the U.S. that have flat screen TVs and air conditioning and cell phones and cars and. Isn't it less than 2% of the federal budget? This is a distraction. Yeah, but a lot of the other stuff is cut too. This is just money that they don't have. That's the thing. It's not being paid out. That's one in 3 households you're paying for. I don't know if we already watched this. Let me see if this is the same video. I think this might be the same video.
I'm here at the Kia Forum parking lot
Yeah,
with
this
the
is the
Los
same video.
Angeles Regional Food.
Yeah, it's the same. It says the real scandal is that the USDA's SNAP program burns $127 billion annually while dependency skyrockets. House Resolution 10314 allocated $1.2 billion to California's EBT administration alone, just to administer it. $1.2 billion in California alone, just to administer it. Yet 15% of LA's households still rely on food stamps. Program costs ballooned 78% since 2020 with zero accountability. Audit report shows 12% of benefits go to ineligible recipients. Taxpayers fund this broken system while bureaucrats pocket 6 figures salaries to mismanage it. Cut the waste, enforce work requirements, and watch dependency plummet. And no one can survive on SNAP food benefits. I know a person on Social Security disability who only gets $946 a month plus $107 in SNAP who can survive on $107 in food benefits. And I know countless veterans who are similarly situated. The welfare system is screwed. Illegals prosper on it while the truly needy suffer. It's disgusting. Yeah. Well, that's the thing, is that these people need it, but they're not. The people that get a lot are people that have all these multiple kids and all this other stuff, and it adds up. Only 28% of SNAP households had any earned income at all in 2023. So only 28% of the households had actual earned income. So that means that 72% of the households made no money. Oh, you don't believe any of this? Biden's economy was the best in history? That's because we're living in a simulation. Only 34% of SNAP households have children. They aren't working. They aren't struggling to feed their families. They're just an urban vote bank. Yeah, it ballooned in 2020. Geez, wonder what happened in 2020 to cause it. Yeah, they gave people emergency SNAP benefits in 2020, vastly opened up the eligibility for SNAP to all these people. No, he says, no, 72% lied about making no money. Well, no, they earned income as far as on their taxes, Trumpinator. That's what they're going by, tax records. They probably work for cash, under the table. Yeah, many of them are probably on Social Security or Social Security disability payments. No, that's the thing, too. They already know that the number of people that are on disability only make up like 15% of the SNAP recipients are the people that are disabled. Because there's a lot of people that are disabled that don't qualify for SNAP. I know. Yeah. 42 million Americans on SNAP. The federal minimum wage is $7.25. Oh, that's why? Is that why? But when they don't work, when only 28% of them are working. No, I know about COVID. No shit, I know about COVID, dude. That's what I'm saying. They opened up the eligibility because of COVID, and then they never got rid of it when everybody went back. When it went back to normal, per se, they just never changed anything. That's what these subsidies that they're doing, that the Medicare, the Obamacare subsidies, that was all because of COVID too. They go, we got to do this. These people, they got to have insurance. We got to do this COVID. And blah, 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 blah. For 2021, they renewed everything, whether you need it or not, because of COVID, and requirements and needed proof just vanished. And then this guy says, if you're on EBT or SNAP, we should take away your ability to vote. Anyone who's on welfare, I'm not advocating for this. I'm just going to say that I don't think just because someone's down on their luck, we should take away their ability to vote. But I thought this was funny when you see who it is saying this. So that's why I want to. Anyone who is on welfare, not for disability, but because they can't provide for themselves, should not have the ability to vote. You can't even take care of yourself, so how are you going to be able to decide the future of our nation? That's pretty base. I never thought of it that way before. I don't see.
If you're on EBT, we should take away your ability to vote. Anyone who's on welfare, not for a disability, but because they can't provide for themselves, should not have the ability to vote in our society. You can't even take care of yourself, so how are you going to decide the future of our nation? Someone would say this would affect black people significantly. It would, because per capita, there are more black people on government assistance than anyone else in the country. We're also the biggest abusers of government assistance in this country. If you apply for government assistance, then you're trading in your ability to vote in the next election. People on government assistance are only loyal to the party that feeds them, and not loyal to the nation that they're a part of.
In this story, breaking, President Trump has tapped into tariff revenue to keep the food assistance program alive for women's, infant, and children, the WIC program. He's tapped $750 million of tariff funds. The same policies Democrats promised would cause a depression are saving these programs during the Democrats' shutdown. You can't make this up. $450 million was readied on Friday on top of the $300 million previously. Open the government so we don't have to do this. I see us all over my town. Chuck took my food stamps. Trump is dealing with people holding the entire government hostage. He's doing more than all the Democrats combined. The Democrats forced the shutdown by refusing to negotiate. Now they're shocked Trump found a way to fund WIC using tariff revenue. I'm surprised they're not suing him and saying he can't do it, instead of taxpayer dollars. And the big, beautiful bill, H.R. 1, proves America's first economics work. Strategic tariffs fund priorities without raising taxes. Biden's era wasted trillions on globalist handouts while Trump redirects revenue to protect vulnerable Americans. The real scandal, Democrats would rather weaponize hunger than secure the border or audit their own bloated agencies. Shutdowns end when D.C. stops funding foreign wars and starts funding citizens. Meanwhile, Democrats vow to starve as many food stamp recipients as it takes to get free health care for illegal immigrants. That's right. That's what they're promising. What they want. They want. Says the Trump administration injects more temporary funding for the Child Nutrition Program, known as WIC. Administration of President Trump has made another $450 million in tariff revenue available for the Childhood Nutrition Program, imperiled by the government shutdown, according to federal funding records. The shutdown, now in its 34th day, has compromised benefits for nearly 7 million low-income Americans who are pregnant, breastfeeding, or who have children under age 5 who receive food, nutrition, counseling, and other support through the Special Supplemental Nutrition Program for Women's, Infants, and Children, known as WIC. You thought Tim Pool said they tapped in the U.S.? No, that's for SNAP benefits. This is for WIC. There was nothing for WIC. There was no contingency funds for WIC. There was nothing. So Trump immediately, when the shutdown happened, they didn't have the money for WIC. They didn't have any money to cover it. So he tapped into the tariff money to cover it for October. There was zero money available for WIC. Now he did it again for November for WIC. And that's just for pregnant women women who are pregnant, they're breastfeeding, or they have children under 5. That's it. That's all that WIC is for. The money was transferred to WIC program on Friday, according to the records from the White House Management and Budget. It was drawn from a pool of tariff revenue made available to the USDA for commodity and disaster assistance and will cover about 3 weeks of benefits. The USDA previously drew on that funding source in mid-October to send states about $300 million for 2 weeks of WIC benefits. State agencies are expected to receive funds in the next 2 days. Additional funds will come as food aid under Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, known as food stamps, remains delayed. The Trump administration on Monday said it would draw on contingency funds to partially pay for November SNAP benefits, but that some states could take weeks or months to calculate and distribute the aid. Yeah, because the states are the ones who have to figure out who gets what money. $750 million for WIC. That's kind of fishy. I know what WIC is, for I have children. Well, that was for 2 months, though. Who's handsome? $750 million was 2 months. 2 months of WIC. We anticipate the disruptions in SNAP may lead to additional families to certify for WIC or families to run through their WIC benefits faster. So we're keeping a really close eye on these resources because we know that WIC can't fill the gap that SNAP plays for families. The White House did not immediately respond for request for comment, and no tariff money for SNAP. SNAP aid for nearly 42 million Americans lapsed for the first time in the program's history. on November 1st, and neither Congress nor Trump acted to fund the benefits during the shutdown. The administration said in a court filing on Monday that while it has drawn on tariff revenue for WIC, it will not draw on that pool for the $4 billion required to fully fund the SNAP benefits. That's $4 billion on top of the 8 or 9 that they already have. The tariff revenue also supports the child nutrition programs like school lunches and moving billions to SNAP with threat net funding. Deputy Under Secretary for Food, Nutrition, and Consumer Services at USDA said in a filing. Creating a shortfall in the children nutrition program to fund 1 month of SNAP benefits is an unacceptable risk, even considering the procedural difficulties with delivering a partial SNAP payment, because shifting $4 billion to America's SNAP population merely shifts the problem to millions of Americans, America's low-income children that receive their meals at school. Same thing here. The Trump administration injects more temporary funding for the child nutrition program. We accept WIC and food stamps. So they made $450 million tariff revenue available. Shutdown now in its 34 days as compromised. We already read all this. Okay. Now on to this story. Trump tells New York, you must vote for Andrew Cuomo over Zoran Nakami-Mandami and ditch Curtis Sliwa. President Trump made his most overt endorsement yet of Andrew Cuomo in the New York City mayoral's race, saying that New Yorkers must vote for the disgraced former governor to defeat the communist. Trump said in his election eve appeal that his hometown would become an economic and social disaster if the communist wins on Tuesday. If communist candidate Madami wins the election for mayor, it is highly unlikely that I will be contributing federal funds other than the very minimal as required to my beloved first home because of the fact that as a communist, this once great city has zero chance of success. Yeah, this might make people vote more likely to vote for Mandami. But I think what he's hoping happens is some of the people that were going to vote for Sliwa will vote for Cuomo, maybe. Food stamps are not funded for everyone on the first of the month. It goes to the first letter, last name. A and B are funded on the first, C and D are funded on the second, and so on up to the 13th. Okay. Yeah, but nothing was funded now, so they're going to have to work to try to get it out there, I guess. Okay. It could only get worse with a communist at the helm, and I don't want to send as president good money after bad. It's my obligation to run the nation, and it's my strong conviction that New York City will be a complete and total economic and social disaster should the commie win. Trump has for week made it clear that he thinks the Republicans should back Cuomo rather than Curtis Sliwa, but issued an even more forceful plea. I would rather see a Democrat who has a record of success win than a communist with no experience and a record of complete and total failure. He was nothing as an assemblyman, ranked at the bottom of his class, and as a mayor of potentially, again, the greatest city in the world, he has no chance to bring it back to its former glory. You must also remember this: a vote for Curtis Sliwa, who looks much better than without the beret, is a vote for Mandami. His name is Mac Kami. Okay. Cuomo will still be a disaster, no matter who. Whether you personally like Cuomo or not, you really have no choice. You must vote for him, and hopefully he does a fantastic job. He is capable of it. Mandami is not. In the 24 states that disallowed Doge looking in the SNAP TANF, as I remember that, Following Trump's post, Cuomo said the commander-in-chief didn't actually support his campaign. President Trump doesn't support me. He opposes Mandami, right? He believes that Mandami is an existential threat to New York City. He believes he's a communist. He believes he'll bankrupt New York. He's not endorsing me. He's opposing Mandami. That's Cuomo paying a little tongue-in-cheek. It's my belief they will open the government after the election. We'll see. We'll see. Just the news says Trump endorses Cuomo. President Trump endorsed Cuomo for New York City mayor. Mandami, who calls himself a communist, became the nominee this past summer, forcing Cuomo to run as an independent. He leads in the polls with Cuomo trailing a second place. However, Sliwa supporters were to instead vote for Cuomo, he could defeat Mandami. Trump warned that if Mandami wins, New York will have zero chance of success. His last-minute endorsement comes after the president's ally, Tesla billionaire Elon Musk, endorsed Cuomo along with other billionaires like former New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg. I think these guys like Musk and Bloomberg and all these people, they sat on the sidelines too long. They should have been immediately got behind somebody. Trump and Musk tell New Yorkers to vote Cuomo over Mandami. President Trump on Monday night explicitly called on New York City residents to vote for Cuomo. His endorsement of Cuomo, an independent candidacy, came on the eve of the election. Trump and Musk said that voting for the Republican nominee Sliwa was an effective vote for the state assembly member Kami Mandami, who was consistently held a solid lead in the polls for the general election. A vote for Sliwa, who looks much better without the Murray, is a vote for the Kami. Kami says that Trump is threatened by our campaign. Dude, you're barely getting 40% in New York. Shut up. What a pair, he said when Musk's name was mentioned. They picked Cuomo because they know he'll be a puppet they want right here in New York City. If the communist candidate wins the election, it's highly unlikely they'll be contributing federal funds. Musk made in a post that remember to vote tomorrow. Bear in mind that a vote for Curtis is really a vote for Mandami, or whatever his name is. Vote Cuomo. The New York Times reported on Monday that Mandami, during a campaign event in Queens, said he has known for months that Trump would back Cuomo. In these final days, what was rumored, what was feared, has become naked and unabashed. Yeah, supporting nipples Cuomo is not a good look. Sometimes the enemy of my enemy is my friend type of thing. Yeah, with the media backing only polling in the 40s. Yeah, Mandami's been stuck like 40%, 41%. He's not going any higher. So a granny killer or mass starvation? The MAGA movement's embrace of Cuomo is reflective of Trump's understanding that this would be the best mayor for him, not the best mayor for New York City. People are retarded. And then, this was very interesting, this story. It says civil rights groups accuse Virginia of junior officials of illegally blocking campus voters. Now, the civil rights group, surprisingly, is called the NAACP, and they're coming out because they're worried that their white liberal woman is going to get defeated by the black woman, and they don't want that. The NAACP is coming out against the black woman. That's weird. It doesn't really sound like they're for the advancement of colored people if they're not campaigning for the black woman running for governor. Civil rights groups have filed a lawsuit in Virginia alleging that state and local officials are unlawfully rejecting student voter registration forms because they lack dormitory names, room numbers, or campus mailbox information. So if you don't put a fucking address, they're rejecting it. And details the groups say are both irrelevant and discriminatory. Yeah, so if they don't put an address, if it's just a name and say we go to the school, yeah, they need an address. The NAACP Virginia State Council filed a lawsuit in the U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of Virginia. They contend that multiple jurisdictions across the Commonwealth are denying or delaying registrations from college students who live on campus because they did not include dorm room information. Spokeswoman for the Virginia Department of Education said the agency doesn't comment on pending litigation. Hey, I am Bob is here. What's up? I'm Gray. I'm late, not late and gay. That's right. Shit fire. Students' rights at the ballot box. It's a clear attempt to rob students of the right to vote in a state where they study and potentially live once they graduate. Are these people, did they change their addresses and register to vote? So these are people that probably are registered to vote in their home where they actually live, and they're just here at school in Virginia, and so now they're trying to get these people to register to vote, which you can only be registered to vote in one place. So I don't know how that works exactly. Yeah, extraneous information like, their address. Virginia's own voter registration form does not ask for dorm room information. The federal law makes it clear that immaterial omissions cannot be used to deny eligible citizens the right to vote. Well, how do we know they're eligible citizens? The complaint asserts that by rejecting registrations for missing dorm-specific details, election officials violate the materiality provision of the Civil Rights Act. Among the campuses cited in the filing are Norfolk State University, Virginia State University, George Mason University, James Madison University, Old Dominion, University of Richmond, and Virginia Commonwealth University. Virginia college students represent the next generation of civic leaders, and their voices matter. When barriers are placed in front of young voters, it sends a message that their participation is not valued. It's not valued. Young people shouldn't vote because they're idiots. Just saying. We will not allow unnecessary obstacles. John Powers, director for the Advancement Project, added that thousands of young voters on college campuses want to make their voices heard in this year's elections, but too many of them are at risk of being disenfranchised. Are they registered to vote in the states that they live in, their residents? They have a home state, yeah. They have a home state. They're only in school. They're temporarily there in school. They're not living there permanently. And I'm sure they're still registered to vote in their home state. I'm sure they got ballots for their home state elections. You can't vote in more than one place, people. That's against the law. He demanded the barriers that infringe on their right to vote must be removed. The lawsuit arises amid broader national concern about students' voting access and efforts by rights groups to challenge state policies that impose unique hurdles for young voters. A recent analysis by the Brennan Center, that's a fucking commie organization, found that the college students have face long obstacles such as residence address challenges. Yeah, if you don't have a fucking address, in Indiana, for example, a federal court last month refused to dismiss a challenge to a law that restricted student voter IDs, concluding that students alleged a plausible claim under the First, 14th, and 26th Amendments. In Virginia specifically, election rights advocates have previously warned that local registrars were rejecting students listing university addresses without further proof of residence. Yeah, you got to have proof of residence. Where's your driver's license? You got a Virginia driver's license? Oh, you don't. You got a right license in your own state. So that means you're registered to vote in your own state. NAACP, Virginia State Conference and Advancement Project asked the court to block Virginia's election officials from rejecting student voter registrations solely because they omit, addresses. Their goal is to guarantee that students may register using the valid campus address without facing unnecessary impediments. So just say it's the school. Their address is the school. School. 100 seats in the House of Delegates just hours away. Student voters, particularly at historically black colleges and universities, may represent a key and energized demographics. To vote against a black woman? What? Did Obama go and say, to support black people, you have to vote against a black person? Is that what he said? Is that Obama's pitch? Virginia Department of Elections has yet to publicly explain its policy. Meanwhile, the lawsuit places local registrars and state oversight squarely in a legal spotlight. For students across Virginia, the outcome of the lawsuit may determine whether simply listing a campus address without extra dorm details is enough to secure the right to vote. So they just want to say university, this university, with no other information. Reuters has the same story, basically. Sues over, NAACP sues over discrimination. And this was interesting. I saw this story. It says data shows that 1 in 4 immigration arrests happen in Texas, where about 1.6 million immigrants illegally live. Probably more than that. You think there's only 2 million illegal aliens in Texas? I mean, I'm sure there's more traveling through the state. Have to see how that works exactly. All right, we've been going an hour, and I just want to remind everybody, please hit the like button. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. I do these shows every night, just about at 10 p.m. I'd sometimes take one night off a week, but usually every night. Yeah, they probably pay out-of-state tuition and voting in Virginia. Yeah. Yeah, if they lived in Virginia and they were registered to vote in Virginia, wouldn't they have in-state tuition? I mean, see, that's the thing. It's like a weird thing that's going on here where they're playing games. They're trying to get them to vote in two places at once. And I just want to say to the 90 people that are here watching, please hit the like button if you haven't already. And think about it that if, we got a little over an hour left to go in the show unless we hit the other $39, and then we will have another hour to add to that. So on the evening of July 1st, Louis Medrano called Houston police for help after his wife had gotten violent and punched him twice in the face during a schizophrenic episode in which he was hearing tormenting voices, according to a police report. Medrano, 50, a Mexican immigrant who met his wife while they crossed the Rio Grande with a group of about a dozen other illegal aliens more than 3 decades ago, had tried to take his 47-year-old wife to the hospital, but she refused to go. So how many crazy schizophrenic illegal aliens do we need in this country? Do we need more schizophrenic people, or should we send them home? Probably send them back home, right? That's where I'm going with this story. So he did what he had done 3 times before. He called the police so that they would take her to the hospital. But this time, the officer arrested her on assault because she hit him. So that is domestic battery. That's the law. That's the law. She goes to jail. Mm-hmm. After a prosecutor dismissed the case, the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, also known as ICE, picked her up from jail and deported her to Mexico. We don't need any more schizophrenic people here. Send them back. My children blame me for all this, Medrano said, but believe me, this was not my intention. I only wanted her to get help. In Texas, which is the second largest population of aliens living in the country illegally, more than 1.6 million of the estimated, okay, this is all bullshit, 13.7 million nationally? Okay, so that number is off by a magnitude of at least 5 to 6. So that means, there's 80 to 90 million illegal people in the country. So that means there's got to be 7 or 8 million of them in Texas, if that's how far they're off with these numbers. Medrano's story is emblematic of how the Trump administration has intensified its immigration enforcement compared to Trump's first term, which focused largely on the southern border amid a record number of asylum seekers. The administration's focus has now shifted to the Democrat-led states such as California, Illinois, and New York, where witnesses have recorded masked ICE agents using force in some cases to arrest people. That's what you do. You arrest people. If they resist, you use force. From Trump's inauguration to July 29th, ICE made 138,000 arrests nationwide, 24% of them in Texas. The Tribune, but they said they were targeting Democrat states. Texas is not a Democrat state, so if 1/4 of all the arrests were made in Texas, it doesn't sound like they're purposely targeting Democrat states, does it? So which one is it? Please choose which way you're going with this fucking lie, please. The Tribune analyzed ICE's enforcement data from September 2023 to late July 2025, comparing the last 18 months of the Biden administration with the first 6 months of the Trump administration. The data obtained through the public records request, they show that ICE's average daily arrests more than doubled from 85 under Biden to 176 under Trump. Daily arrests have jumped about 30 percentage points in the ICE regions that include Houston and Dallas. About 52% of the ICE arrests have been people in local jails, down from 61% during the Biden administration. Arrests of people who had not been convicted of crime have increased from 42% under Biden to 59% under Trump. So 42% of the people Biden arrested for deportation were not convicted of a crime. So now, and it's up, to Trump. Well, that's still for Trump, but Trump is the devil. The Harris County Jail leads the country in ICE detainers, a request from immigration agents to hold a person for deportation, while jails in Dallas, Bexar, and Travis counties have also been in the top 10. Because these other places won't do it, like New York, California, Illinois, Washington, Oregon. The data is most detailed information we have publicly available. Legal observers had noted the administration has stopped consistently publishing detailed immigration data that its predecessors routinely shared. In some cases, previously published data has been deleted. For example, a Department of Justice report that showed immigrants in Texas commit crimes at a lower rate than U.S. citizens disappeared from the DOJ website soon after Trump took office because it's a fucking lie. Because if you look at the prison population of Texas, over 20% of the prison population of Texas is illegal aliens. So how is it fucking possible? If it's that immigrants commit crimes at a less rate, when illegal immigrants make up 20% of the prison population, are you saying that 20% of the population of Texas is illegal aliens? That doesn't make sense. Something's wrong here. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security, which oversees ICE, responded to a question from the Tribune. Tricia McLaughlin said 70% of illegal aliens ICE has arrested have criminal convictions or pending criminal charges. And that doesn't even account for those wanted for violent crimes in their country of origin or another country. Interpol notices human rights abuses, gang members, terrorists, the list goes on. Paula Perella, a Houston-based immigration lawyer, said the data reveals the Trump administration's strategy is simple: deport as many people as possible as fast as possible. Yes! Yes! An immigrant activist views Fayol in Houston said his organization can gauge how quickly the administration is working compared to Biden by the number of phone calls they get. During the Biden administration, we might get 1 to 2 calls when somebody gets picked up by ICE every month, or every other month. Now we're averaging 15 to 20 calls a day. That's because Texas has been one of the most receptive states to the Trump administration's immigration agenda. What's happening in Texas, there seems to be a system in place that makes it easy to help ICE deport people compared to other states like California, where there's more resistance. What would be resistance be called? Resistance to deporting people. So that would be interfering, impeding, opposition, so breaking the law. Less than half of arrested immigrants had criminal convictions. In the first Trump term, the administration focused on the southern border as hundreds of thousands of immigrants from Central America came seeking asylum. The administration implemented policies such as the Migrant Protection Protocols, also known as Remain in Mexico, under which 70,000 non-Mexican people were forced to wait in Mexico until their asylum cases wound through the courts. Okay. The second Trump has been even more aggressive, clamping down on immigrants living illegally in the nation's interior. Yes! The data shows that in the first 6 months of the term, ICE averaged 727 arrests a day, more than doubling the 304 daily arrests under Biden. I want that to be on an order of magnitude of 10. I want them arresting 7,000 people a day. To help meet the goal, Congress approved $170 billion for immigration enforcement in July, expanding immigrant detention centers, hiring 10,000 ICE agents, more than double its current staffing, and entice recruits with a $50,000 signing bonus. So all these new officers that are coming in are evidently going to be led to a major increase in arrests, and as detention centers come online, more people will be detained, and so immigration enforcement is going to get more aggressive over the next 2 years. Yes, good. I don't see it's just an initial surge followed by a slowdown. I think the goal of the administration is put the pedal to the metal at all points. Yes, good. Yes, good. What are you posting links for? I don't know what that is. During the last year's presidential campaign, Trump promised the largest deportation program of criminals in the history of America. Good. And the administration have repeatedly said they're going after the worst of the worst. But during the first 6 months, data shows the Trump administration have been arresting more people that don't have criminal records than Biden did in his final 18 months. Okay, and in Texas, 58% of the people ICE arrested under Biden had criminal convictions compared to 42% under Trump. Did they have charges? Were they wanted other places? Did they have... If somebody already has a final deportation order, they got to go. The rhetoric that Trump is going after hardened criminals gives the impression the administration is focused on general public safety. Are like 95% of the people arrested worst of the worst? I don't think so. Oh, so that's going to be 95%. Oh, so if they come across when they go to arrest the worst of the worst, and there's 5 other illegal aliens in the house, they're just supposed to let them go and ignore the law? No, they arrest those people too. That's what's happening. An immigration law professor at Ohio State said the deportation quotas they set for itself are pushing them to look beyond people convicted of crimes. If they come across them, they deport them. There's simply not enough migrants in the United States who have committed serious crimes to reach the kind of detention and deportation numbers the president and immigration officials have committed to. I don't believe that's true. One on the street, one at an ICE check-in. The data shows that even though the Trump administration has mostly depended on local jails to find and arrest immigrants living in the country illegally, ICE agents have also conducted more custodial arrests on the streets, in homes, and during ICE check-ins. Some immigrants who have been allowed in the country are required to report to ICE offices periodically while their immigration cases, such as asylum requests, are pending. Under Biden, 80% of ICE arrests came from county jails and federal and state prisons. Under Trump, that number has dropped to 64%, which underscores the increasing ICE activity outside of the criminal justice system. One of the people arrested recently was Marwan Maroof, who was on his way to work after dropping off his 15-year-old son at Dallas High School in September. According to Maroof's older son, about 5 vehicles surrounded his car when ICE agents pulled him over. Maroof, a Palestinian born in Kuwait with Jordanian citizenship, came to the U.S. on a student visa to study electrical engineering at Louisiana and landed a job as electrical engineer in Dallas. Did he have a work visa? That's where he met his wife, a fellow Jordanian who was visiting her sister. A year later, they married and had their first child. Oh. The elder Maruf became an active in the local Muslim community. He also volunteered with other religious groups. Okay. As part of his work, he donated to a Palestinian-led charity called the Holy Land Foundation, which was giving to Hamas, which the Bush administration shut down and prosecuted the leaders because they funneled money to Hamas, a terrorist organization. Maruf, like many others, said he donated to the charity, believing the group's efforts were solely to support Palestinians. So when he applied for his green card, immigration officials notified him that they were denying his application. 5 years later, their U.S.-born son sponsored their parents for a green card. His mother's application was approved in 2020, but on September 22nd, ICE agents arrested Moran. They gave him a letter notifying him his green card application was denied. He's been in custody in the Bluebonnet Detention Center, about a 3-hour drive from Dallas. His lawyers are attempting to fight his deportation. So this guy has been living in the country basically illegally for all these years. He was on a student visa and then he didn't leave. He's never been charged in connection with his donation, but a statement attributed to McLaughlin said a green card is a privilege, not a right. If you are pushing Hamas propaganda, supporting terrorist organizations, and conducting other anti-American actions, you will face consequences. A month before his arrest, ICE agents detained Austin resident Yanni Perez Odorado, but they did not have to go looking for him. He had entered the country in Brownsville in May 2022, and when Border Patrol arrested him, he was placed in the migrant protection protocols and was allowed to remain in the country while his asylum request was pending, as long as he checked in with ICE in San Antonio. Meanwhile, his 40-year-old wife, Anna, and their 14-year-old daughter, who came to Texas through a Biden administration program that allowed Cubans, Haitians, Nicaraguans, and Venezuelans to enter the U.S. under a parole program that Trump has since shut down, eventually received green cards, making them legal permanent residents. How did these people get fucking green cards this fast? You're not supposed to be able to get a green card that fast. It's supposed to take years. Perez continued his semi-annual check-ins with ICE, waiting for a decision. On August 12th, Perez was arrested at the ICE office as his wife and daughter watched. They took him away, and our girl had witnesses. ICE deported Perez Odado to Mexico in the past month, his lawyer said, because it was a faster process than trying to deport him to Cuba. If he fought his deportation, he could have been kept in detention for months and banned from the country for a decade. So his lawyer, he may have a chance to eventually return to the U.S. because his wife has sponsored him for a green card. Texas immigration crackdown began 4 years ago. After his wife was arrested in Houston, Marano told the judge he didn't want his wife to be prosecuted. When he tried to post a bail, Harris County jail officials told him ICE had placed a detainer on him. Oh. The prosecutors dismissed the case. She was immediately transferred to an immigration detention center and then deported to Mexico on October 1st. Madrano, who's also living in the U.S. illegally, followed her, leaving their 4 U.S. children behind. There you go. Story to a happy ending. You know, family that deports together stays together. They have since relocated to San Luis Potosi, where they have some distant relatives. In 2017, the Harris County Sheriff's Office agreed with ICE to let its agents have access to the jail to investigate immigration status. This agreement has allowed our agency to redeploy deputies to previously were performing ICE duties in the jail to local law enforcement duties that enhance public safety. Unlike California, which has the most illegal aliens in the country, Texas has followed the Trump administration's lead in cracking down on them. Since 2021, the state legislature has approved more than $11 billion for border enforcement and building border walls, all part of Abbott's signature Operation Lone Star, which since 2021 has sent thousands of state troopers and National Guard soldiers to the Texas-Mexico border. In 2017, the legislature approved a bill that outlawed any local policies that prevented cooperation with ICE. Okay, and that forced immigrant-friendly cities and counties to work with ICE, even if local leaders opposed it. In 2023, the state passed one of the nation's most aggressive enforcement action laws, allowing state police to arrest and deport people who illegally cross the Texas-Mexico border. The Biden administration, El Paso County, and immigrant rights organizations sued the state to overturn the law, which is on hold while the case remains pending in the courts. And in this year's legislative session, lawmakers approved a law requiring Texas sheriffs to enter a formal agreement with ICE that allows them to deputize some deputies to work as immigration agents. Also this year, Abbott ordered state police to work with federal immigration agents to arrest immigrants. Between late January and early September, troopers arrested 3,131 people, 3,131 across the state. most of them on suspicion of improper entry to the country. In Harris County, which leads the country in ICE detainers, Abbott recently launched a violent crimes task force that includes state troopers and local police and said residents should expect higher law enforcement presence in swarming areas. Trump administration is relying quite heavily on partnerships with local law enforcement and Republican-led states because those are the places they're willing to work hand in hand with ICE. Those partnerships can help turn a misdemeanor arrest into a deportation. Yes, it can. Get arrested, get deported. Once a person's in jail for any offense, ICE agents can check their immigration status, and if they're in the country illegally, ask sheriffs who commonly run the jails to hold the person for them. They can be transferred to ICE custody and deported. That's how it works, man. Hey, what's up, Rock the Casbar? Nice to see you. Sometimes it's as simple as a traffic ticket for not wearing a seatbelt or a DUI or other charges. Yes, DUI charges, definitely get them out. They're killing people. Treno said he and his wife have lived most of their adult lives in the U.S. will struggle with establishing new lives in Mexico. Oh, well, for all this, we had a comfortable life. We worked as a construction contractor most of the time. Oh. So he was working illegally. He wasn't paying taxes. All that money was going under the table. Getting paid cash, probably. Breaking more laws. Same story from the AP, basically, same thing. Just basically a sob story about this guy. The Texas Trib, here's the guy. Oh, my father was deported for being part of the Holy Land Foundation. Oh, well, shit happened. This story, which I'm hoping, I wanted to talk to Joe about this particular because I want to know. It says the first clinical trial of pig kidney transplants gets underway. The first clinical trial is getting underway to see if transplanting pig kidneys in people might really save lives. Oh no, so sad. Too bad. Don't care. Deport them all. United Therapeutics, a producer of gene-edited pig kidneys, announced Monday that the study's initial transplant was performed successfully at NYU Langone Health. It's the latest step in the quest for animal-to-human transplants. A second U.S. company, eGenesis, is preparing to begin its own pig kidney clinical trials in the coming months. These are the first known clinical trials of what is called a xenotransplantation in the world. The question is, why I would like to talk to Joe is, I'd like to know what is the rabbinical law on this, because they can't eat pork. Can they get a pig kidney transplant? I'd be willing to bet that Islam, that Muslims, this would be haram because they freak out if even bacon touches them or something like that. It's considered a hate crime to bring bacon anywhere near them. If they smell bacon, it's a hate crime. So they're not getting no pig kidney transplants. To protect the study's participants' identity, researchers aren't releasing information about when the surgery was performed or further patient information. Dr. Montgomery, who led the transplant team, told the Associated Press his hospital has a list of other patients interested in joining the small trial, which will initially include 6 people. If this goes well, it could be expanded up to 50 as additional transplant centers join. The FDA is allowing the rigorous studies after a series of so-called compassionate use experiments with mixed results. The first 2 gene-edited pig kidney transplants were short-lived. Xenoporkfic. Pig kidney is removed from a New Hampshire man after a record 271 days. Doctors began working with patients who badly needed a kidney but weren't as sick as prior recipients. An Alabama woman's pig kidney lasted 130 days before she had to return to dialysis. The latest record, 271 days, was set by a New Hampshire man transplanted at Massachusetts General Hospital. He is also back on dialysis after a pig organ began declining and was removed last month. Others known to be living with a pig kidney are another Mass General patient and a woman in China. China! This thing is moving in the right direction. As doctors learn from each other and each patient's experience, he noted the ability to resume dialysis also gives a safety net. More than 100,000 people, mostly needing kidneys, are on the U.S. transplant list and thousands die waiting. As potential alternatives, scientists are genetically altering pigs so their organs are more human-like, less likely to be immediately attacked and destroyed by people's immune system. United Therapeutics trial is testing pig kidneys with 10 gene edits, knocking out pig genes that trigger early rejection and excessive organ growth, and adding some human genes to improve compatibility. So they're creating a Franken kidney. Groundbreaking kidney pig organ transplant trial is underway. So basically the same story. And this next story, this is goings on in Israel right now. Haven't porcine cardiac valves been used for many years in insulin? I think so. I thought pig skin was used for stuff, but I don't know. It says Hamas seeks safe passage, keeping weapons. Israel sends warning. Hamas has demanded Israel permit 100 to 200 terrorists trapped in tunnels to retain their weapons and receive secured Red Cross passage through Israel-controlled zones back to Hamas territory. Israel firmly rejects the demands and has warned Hamas that continued attacks result in the elimination of all trapped terrorists. Interesting story. Never really thought about that. I mean, it's just, I'd like to wonder, like, if you're Jewish, is it considered, like, a violation of, the Torah to get a kidney that's a pig kidney? I mean, maybe it is. I don't know. But then again, would that prevent, if it could save your life, wouldn't that be an exception as far as the Torah goes? I thought there was all those types of deals in there where, well, if you save your life, you could do this or whatever. Now, Islam, on the other hand, I would think it'd be like, oh, no, 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 no. Oh, no, 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 no touching. No pork on my fork, no swine on my mind. Israel's position firmly rejects permitting terrorists to transit from Khan Yunis and Rafah deep in Israeli-held territory to Hamas's areas. In context held in recent days, effectively since the IDF force attacked and the death of Master Sergeant Yana Ephraim Foldblum last week in Rafah, Hamas demanded passage of several dozen terrorists between 100 and 200 back to its ranks. These terrorists became trapped in tunnels in the two southern cities, and they are surrounded but attempt to periodically attack IDF soldiers. Since the ceasefire started, they have succeeded in killing 3 soldiers and wounding others. The IDF has eliminated many attackers, but many others remain in tunnels. At the beginning of contact, Hamas demanded passage in its own vehicles that would enter IDF territory and be escorted by Red Cross to prevent harm. Subsequently agreed they would be transferred in Red Cross vehicles, but demanded they keep their weapons. Alien versus Predator. Yes, definitely. Israel's Hayman revealed that Israel demanded the terrorists leave their weapons behind. Additional conditions that were set, including Hamas's committing to halt the attacks and maintain the ceasefire. Most critically, Hamas would return all bodies of the kidnapped fallen soldiers, again as written in the Sharm Agreement. According to the information, Hamas has access to nearly or all the bodies and is withholding their return to gain advantages in negotiations. Israel also demanded an update on progress implementing the second phase, which included Hamas disarming. During the context, Israel has conveyed a clarification to Hamas that if the attacks don't cease, all these terrorists will be eliminated and buried beneath the tunnel rubble. However, Hamas has refused to conditions of leaving weapons behind, claimed it has no control or contact with terrorists in question, and regarding the kidnapped fallen soldiers, continues to assert that extraditing the bodies would require engineering tools it doesn't possess. This response, combined with public pressure in Israel, led to the Prime Minister's announcement at midday that he will not permit safe passage of 200 Hamas terrorists, and continues his firm position that disarming Hamas and demilitarizing the Strip while thwarting terrorist threats against our forces. The significance is that the IDF is expected to intensify its operations in areas under its control against those terrorists, exposing hiding places and eliminating them. On a diplomatic level, the Americans are trying to delay such intense operations to prevent collapse of the ceasefire. Another consideration in the delay is continued search for fallen, kidnapped soldiers in various locations in the Strip. Okay. BB, please do not say mystical agreement is meaningless. Don't blow them up. They probably, but not by kosher doctors. And this is kind of the same story from Al Jazeera. This Israel, oh no, it's a different story. I'm sorry, from Al Jazeera. This is Israel strikes southern Lebanon, killing 2 and wounding 7. The attacks in 2 towns come a day after Israel threatened to escalate its attacks on the Hezbollah targets. Israeli attacks have killed 2 people and wounded 7 others in southern Lebanon, a day after Israel threatened to escalate its assault on alleged Hezbollah targets. Lebanon's Ministry of Health on Monday said that Israeli strike on the town of Dir in Nabateh province killed 1 person and injured 7. Another strike on Aitat al-Sabah border town in Bint Jibel district killed 1 person. Lebanon National News Agency reported that in Deir, 3 missiles were fired at a car, igniting a fire that spread to nearby vehicles and a shopping complex. Firefighters worked to extinguish the flames while emergency crews cleared debris, shattered glass from the damaged shops, according to a report by the AFP news agency. Israeli army said it killed Mohammed al-Hadid, who alleged was a commander in the Radon Force, a special unit within Hezbollah, who was attempting to reestablish Hezbollah terror infrastructure sites in the Nabateh area. Israeli army claimed that another Hezbollah member was killed in Ayat al-Sababa while attempting to gather intelligence on Israeli troops.
The army showing its presence in Blida, a town in southern Lebanon. Before dawn on Thursday, Israeli troops reached the municipality building, advancing a kilometer from their position along the border. They opened fire on what the Israeli military called a threat, killing an unarmed municipality worker, Ibrahim Salami, an attack that was widely condemned in Lebanon and led to the president instructing the army to confront.
Israeli bombardment came despite a ceasefire agreed to in November, which is meant to halt more than a year of cross-border clashes in recent days. However, Israeli officials have promised to intensify military operations. On Sunday, Israeli Minister of Defense Israel Katz warned that Hezbollah was playing with fire and accused Lebanon's president of dragging his feet over efforts to rein in the group. Are the videos of Israelites protesting the continuing violence real? I have no idea. Hezbollah weakened the prolonged conflict, has faced mounting international pressure to disarm. The United States has urged Lebanon to push for direct talks with Israel. And U.S. envoy Tom Barak says that Washington is encouraging negotiations. There's been a lot of people protesting in the streets of Israel to try and get Bibi to step down, kind of like the same no king shit that was going on here. On Saturday, Israeli strikes in Nabateh killed 4 people. Lebanon's health minister said President Joseph Aoun accused Israel of responding to peace overtures with intensified air raids. The Israeli attacks have raised fear of renewed escalation between Israel and Hezbollah as the fragile ceasefire appears increasingly meaningless. This is another story, same thing. Israeli strikes on southern Lebanon, kills 2, wounds 7 in latest ceasefire violation. We got this from Turkey that says that Turkey set to call for action on Gaza as soon as possible, sources say. Istanbul, Turkey. Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan is expected to call a meeting in Istanbul. I prefer to call it Constantinople on Monday for arrangements to be made as soon as possible to ensure the security and administration of Gaza by Palestinians, a foreign ministry source said on Sunday. The foreign ministers of Qatar, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Jordan, Pakistan, Indonesia are set to join the meetings on ceasefire developments and humanitarian situation in Gaza, the Turkish foreign minister source said. Why the weird pronunciations? I'm trying to pronounce them the way they would sound in their language. I don't know. I'm doing my best to sound them like, accurately. The source said Fadan is expected to emphasize the importance of coordinated action by Muslim countries for the ceasefire to evolve in a lasting peace. Countries taking part in the Constantinople talks all attended a meeting with the U.S. President Donald Trump in New York in September on the side of the UN General Assembly. Not working? Yeah. Some people like it, some people don't. It's off-putting. Oh, hey, what's up? Oh, no, I got to rethink off-putting. I got to rethink my whole thing now. I thought it was very cheeky. Huh. U.S. brokered Gaza truce, which left thorny issues like the disarmament of the Palestinian militant group Hamas, and a timeline for Israelis' withdrawal from Gaza unresolved, has been tested by periodic violence since coming into force. Source said Fadan is set to tell the meeting that Israel is making excuses to end the ceasefire and emphasize the need for international community to take a resolute stance against Israel's provocative actions. It's a bit cringe. Sounds like Kamala in Fulton County. He's also set to say that humanitarian aid entering Gaza is insufficient and Israel has not fulfilled its obligations in that regard. Relations between Turkey and Israel have hit new lows during the Gaza war, with President Tayyip Erdogan harshly criticizing Israel's attacks on the enclave. Turkey helped persuade Hamas to accept Trump's peace plan and has expressed a willingness to take part in an international task force to monitor the ceasefire implementation. However, Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Sa'ar said on Monday that Israel won't accept the presence of Turkish armed forces in Gaza under the U.S. plan to end the war. Was Turkey going to send troops there? That's not a good idea. This story from the International something or other, the internet, I don't know, the Ghetto International. This is from French, I think, a French paper. That, okay, a ceasefire is not enough. Constantinople rallies its Muslim partners around Gaza. This guy says, I think it's fun, Jim. Set you apart from the other channels. I was trying to be fun. I don't want anyone to be upset. So, ahead of this meeting, Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan received a delegation from Hamas's political bureau in Constantinople on Saturday, led by Khalil al-Hayya, the chief negotiator for the Palestinian Islamist movement. It's not exactly humorous news. You got a thumb drive ready to send me? I don't know what that means exactly. Turkey is bringing together foreign ministers from Muslim countries in Constantinople on Monday to try and influence the future of Gaza, where the security and humanitarian situation remains precarious despite the truth in force. Careful, Jim. Might get a knock at the door. But Jim, you can't not offend somebody, so don't try. That's it. There's a triple negative there. What? I'm just saying, like, it was called Constantinople, and then they changed the name of it. All I'm trying to do is give it the correct, like, I'm trying to honor the legacy, like, then these settlers, these colonialist settlers that moved in and conquered and took over Constantinople. You got a thumb drive with the recordings of the Fallout stuff? Oh, okay. The minister of these 7 countries, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, the United Arab Emirates, Jordan, Pakistan, and Indonesia, met with Donald Trump in New York in late September on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly. 6 days later, the U.S. president presented his plan to end the conflict in the Gaza Strip. A fragile ceasefire came into effect on October 10th after 2 years of a devastating war launched by Israel following an unprecedented attack by Hamas on its territories. It's Turkish. So if he didn't pronounce it correctly, they would have taken offense to Chicago. Multicultural, exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They got to try to pronounce it right. Otherwise, I'm not making an effort to honor them. After Monday's meeting, Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan received a delegation from Hamas's bureau in Constantinople on Saturday. The delegation was led by Khalil al-Hayya, the Palestinian Islamist movement's chief negotiator. We must end the massacre in Gaza. A ceasefire is not enough, Fidan said at the forum in Constantinople, reiterating his call for a two-state solution. We must recognize that Gaza must be governed by Palestinians and act with caution, the Turkish minister emphasized. Act with caution. According to sources within the Turkish Foreign Ministry, Mr. Fidan will call on Monday for the establishment of mechanisms enabling the Palestinians to ensure the security and governance of Gaza. The Turkish Foreign Minister, who accused Israel of seeking pretexts to break the ceasefire, will also increase humanitarian aid to Gaza. It's in the okay. It's in there. Hold on. Here you go, Snarf. So, speaking of Chicago, one of my friends was married to this guy she met in the Marines. His little brother got in trouble, so came down here for the summer. There you go. But Ankara's efforts, which include increasing diplomatic contacts with countries in the region and seeking to influence the pro-Israel stance of the United States, are viewed unfavorably by Israel, which considers Ankara too close to Hamas. Israeli leaders have repeatedly expressed their opposition to Turkey's participation in the International Stabilization Force in Gaza. Under Trump's plan, on which the ceasefire agreement is based, the stabilization force, composed primarily of troops from Arab and Muslim countries, is to be deployed in Gaza as the Israeli army withdraws. Only countries deemed impartial will be allowed to join the force. According to Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Sa'ar, another sign the Israeli government mistrusts a team of Turkish rescuers sent to participate in the search for bodies, including Israelis, in the ruins of Gaza, are still waiting at the end of last week for Israeli green light to enter the Palestinian territory, according to Ankara. Ankara. Is it Ankara or Ankara? Yeah, this story just says Turkish foreign minister hosts Hamas delegation ahead of guarantors meeting in Constantinople. So that's pretty much it. Same story. Same. All right. On to the next story. It says the Trump administration trains troops for possible targeting of Mexico's cartels. Dun, 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 dun. The show is off the rails tonight. Is it really? Is it that bad? I can't believe it. Well, if it's any consolation, Sharkman, it appears that it's only going to go for about another 50 minutes, if that. Because I don't think we're going to hit the goal, and then it'll be what it'll be. And that's what it will be. Know what I'm saying? Know I'm saying? Know I'm saying? Well, yeah. Lol, what's up? Hey, Julio Scissors, what's up? I just got here. If it's off the rails, explain why I feel like a train hit me. I don't know. I don't know. It says an unknown error has occurred. That's crazy. What kind of unknown error is there actually going to be video here? Oh, whatever. Trump administration reportedly has begun training U.S. troops for a potential mission to target drug cartels in Mexico. Sounds good to me. Whatever. Two current and two former U.S. officials told Fox NBC News that early stage training involving Joint Special Operations Command units and intelligence officers under Title 50 authority, which allows covert operations led by the CIA. How could two former officials know about it? The effort could represent a major escalation in the president's campaign against the cartels, expanding from recent strikes in Venezuela and maritime operations in the Caribbean to potential ground missions in Mexico. In old Mexico, newsmakers reached out to the White House for comment, and the CIA declined to comment while the Pentagon referred inquiries to the White House. According to NBC News, U.S. forces would focus primarily on drone strikes against cartel drug labs and leadership targets. So basically, watch the movie Clear and Present Danger, and that's what they're planning on doing, with some drones requiring on-the-ground operators for precision and safety. Although no final decision has been made, officials described ongoing debates over the mission's scale and whether it should proceed with or without coordination from the Mexican government. The Trump administration is committed to utilizing an all-of-government approach to address the threats cartels pose to American citizens, a senior administration official told NBC. The reported planning comes as the administration intensifies efforts to dismantle human smuggling and narcotics networks linked to cartels operating across Mexico, Venezuela, and beyond. Last week, the Treasury Department sanctioned the Bahaduaja human smuggling organization, a Cancun-based ring accused of moving thousands of illegal migrants and laundering millions in cartel-linked profits. Treasury Undersecretary John Hurley said the administration will continue to target and dismantle transnational criminal organizations to protect the American people. The administration's approach of combining financial sanctions, intelligence coordination, and now potential military intervention marks a sweeping shift from previous U.S. policies that relied heavily on cooperating with Mexico's military and police. Trump's strategy follows a broader pattern of escalation against the narco-terrorism in the Western Hemisphere. The Miami Herald and the Wall Street Journal last week reported U.S. planners were mapping out land targets in Venezuela linked to drug trafficking networks. So they have. There's targets in Venezuela linked to drug trafficking networks. I was told by the media, a bunch of media, that there was no drug trafficking in Venezuela. Trump made it up. Those reports prompted criticism from Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who accused the Herald of publishing fake stories based on unreliable sources. However, recent developments of U.S. naval and air assets suggest the administration is planning for a regional campaign against cartel-linked actors. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum has publicly rejected any suggestion of U.S. intervention or interference, insisting that Mexico coordinates and collaborates but does not subordinate itself. Still, her government has quietly allowed an expansion of CIA surveillance flights and has deployed 10,000 troops to the U.S. border, increased suspensional seizures, and extradited 55 cartel leaders to the United States this year alone. Trump, who had called cartel violence a national security threat, has repeatedly said that traditional law enforcement methods have failed. Mexico is run by the cartels, he remarked recently, adding that lethal deterrence is the only language traffickers understand. If approved, the Mexico mission would mark the first U.S. military action inside Mexican territory since the early 20th century. Anyone want to guess that early 20th century, what that's referring to? General Patton was involved. So was General Pershing. And they went all the way to Mexico City chasing Pancho Villa. Yeah, we could have basically had Mexico at that time. We basically, a division of U.S. troops basically just ran over Mexico and just went anywhere they wanted, did anything they wanted. And, yeah, very interesting. It was prior to World War One. Mm-hmm. An extraordinary move that underscores Trump's willingness to confront cartels directly to curb drug trafficking and protect American communities. Pancho Villa. Pancho Villa. Pancho. Hey, Cisco. Hey, Pancho. No. No, Pancho. No. And this is from the Daily Caller. It says basically the same thing. Trump reportedly planning ground troops, drone strikes on the cartels in Mexico. The U.S. is reportedly planning to send troops and intelligence officers into Mexico to target drug cartels. Training has reportedly begun for such missions. Trump's ongoing campaign against Latin American drug cartels. The administration is committed to using an all-of-government approach. If the mission is approved. So they don't even know. So they don't even know if it's been approved yet. The plan calls for drone strikes against drug labs. Sounds good to me. U.S. troops will reportedly mostly be Joint Special Operations Command JSOC members who operate under the authority of intelligence community. Two officials told Fox NBC News. The CIA and the White House did not respond for requests for comment. Yeah. What are they going to tell you about it? They're going to tell you about it? What are they going to tell you about it? It says Trump, Mexico is scared to let the U.S. troops clean up the cartels. A conservative White House correspondent said Don Trump told her he was willing to send troops to fight Mexico's cartels, but the Mexican president turned down out of fear. On one hand, the country doesn't usually invite troops from other nations into their territory. On the other hand, Mexico is basically run by criminal cartels, and the Mexican government either can't or won't take them on. Daily Caller's White House correspondent Reagan Reese announced Tuesday that the Trump administration said that Mexico president was scared to allow America to take on the cartels. The Cisco Kid was a friend of mine. Great song. Cisco and Pancho, good TV. Oh, no, Cisco. No, Pancho. This Mexican president. It's a song. Reese provided a partial transcript of her conversation with Trump. So I like the president very much, Trump said, referring to Mexico's Claudia Sheinbaum. I think she's a terrific woman. She's also an amazing woman in some certain ways, very elegant, beautiful. But Mexico is run by the cartels. It's run by the cartels. It's run by the cartels. It's run by the cartels. Trump added that he has said before that I've offered to send the U.S. military, and she doesn't want us to do that. Why? Because she's scared. She's very scared. She's scared they're going to kill her, just like they just killed that guy. We saw that guy yesterday. They killed yesterday. The politician. In February, Trump Rubio State Department designated 8 international cartels as FTOs, foreign terrorist organizations, and specially designated global terrorists, STDGTs. The intent of designating these cartels and transnational organizations as terrorists is to protect our nation, the American people, and our hemisphere. Secretary of State Rubio explained that means stopping the campaigns of violence and terror by these groups, both in the United States and internationally. These designations provide law enforcement additional tools to stop these groups. The newly reported comments match Trump's previously expressed sentiments in May when the president told reporters that Sheinbaum had rejected his offer for military aid to take down the cartels. And I think she's a lovely woman. The president of Mexico is a lovely woman, but she's so afraid of the cartels that she can't even think straight. Sheinbaum, at the time, tried to frame her refusal as one meant to protect the sovereignty of Mexico, even though that seems to be completely gone, given that Mexico has for years been controlled by the cartels and overwhelmed by millions of illegals from other countries trying to reach the United States. He said, how can we help you fight the drug trafficking. I proposed the United States military come in and help you. And she said to him, no, Mr. President. No, Cisco. No. We don't. No mas. No mas. And you know what I told him? No, Mr. President, sovereignty is not for sale. Sovereignty is love to defend it. Scheinbaum asserted. The illegal drug trafficking industry continues to kill Americans and Mexicans, and Mexico Daily Post stated this year, there's no place in Mexico where drug trafficking doesn't have a presence. According to the DEA's recent National Drug Threat Assessment, at least 7 cartels are vying for control of the country. The Sinaloa, Jalisco, New Generation, Cartel del Norte, Nueva Familia Mexicoana, La Familia Mexicoana, Carteles Unidos, and Carteles del Golfo. Cartels victimize Americans and Mexicans alike and operate in both countries. Action is urgently needed. Here at PJ Media, we know not as truth, and we want the woke slant. The Newsweek says Trump administration planning to send U.S. troops to Mexico to combat cartels. It was published today. Says they're committed to utilizing an all-government approach. We read all this stuff. Detailed plans aren't available. It comes this week's estimating tax. So we read all this stuff. So, okay. All right. In this case, I saw this. This is very interesting to me. I was like, very struck by this. This is the guy who threw the sandwich. It's on video. This guy throwing his sandwich at the feds and yelling at him to getting chased. Well, for some reason, the grand jury refused to indict him, and so they just brought him under misdemeanor charge. So the trial starts for an assault case against a D.C. man who tossed a sandwich at a federal agent on a viral. He threw it at him, tossed it, whatever you want to call it. He didn't give it to him. Throwing a sandwich at a federal agent turned Sean Charles Dunn into a symbol of resistance against President Donald Trump's law enforcement surge in the nation's capital. This week, federal prosecutors are trying to persuade a jury of fellow Washington, D.C. residents that Dunn simply broke the law. And that could be a tough sell for the government in a city that has chafed against Trump's federal takeover, which is entering its 3rd month. A grand jury refused to indict Dunn on a felony assault count before the U.S. Attorney Janine Pirro's office opted to charge him instead with a misdemeanor. Securing a trial conviction could prove to be equally challenging for the Justice Department in Washington, where murals glorifying Dunn's sandwich toss popped up virtually overnight. It was a sandwich. Before jury selection started Monday, the judge presiding over Dunn's trial seemed to acknowledge how unusual it was for a case like this to be heard in federal court. U.S. District Judge Carl Nichols, who was nominated by Trump, said he expects the trial to last no more than 2 days because it's the simplest case in the world. It's the simplest case in the world. It's on video. Julio says, I used to sing, but now after 20 years of a pack and a half of Reds, my voice sounds like a mix between Shane McGowan and Tom Waits. It sucks. Jurors are scheduled to hear attorneys' opening statements on Tuesday. The agent struck by the sandwich is expected to be the government's first witness. A video that went viral on social media capturing Dunn hurling his Subway-style sandwich at Customs and Border Patrol agents outside a nightclub. That same weekend, Trump announced his deployment of hundreds of National Guard troops and federal agents to assist with the Washington police and help them on their patrol. When Dunn approached a group of CBP agents who were in front of a club hosting Latin night, he called them fascists and racists and chanted shame. An observer's video captured Dunn throwing a sandwich at the agent's chest. Why are you here? I don't want you in my city. Dunn ran away but was apprehended. He was released from custody but rearrested when a team of federal agents in riot gear raided his home. The White House posted a highly produced propaganda video of the raid on its X account. Dunn's lawyers said they noted that Dunn had offered to surrender to police before the raid. Why? How many people were allowed to surrender from January 6th? Any of them? Or were their houses all raided? Their houses were all raided. Yeah. Roger Stone, his house was raided. Paul Manafort, his house was raided. Yeah. Steve Bannon, his house was raided. Peter Navarro, raided. They were all raided. Dunn worked as an international affairs specialist in the Justice Department. After his arrest, the Attorney General announced his firing, and they referred him to as an example of the deep state. Before trial, Dunn's lawyers urged the judge to dismiss the case for what they allege is a vindictive and selective prosecution. They argued that the post by Bonnie in the White House proved Dunn was impermissibly targeted for his political speech. So now it's political speech to hit somebody with an object, according to them. That's speech. Okay. Because I lived in Pennsylvania. It's just. Julio says, I lived in Pennsylvania and I hid in my house when J6 was happening for fear of my life. Oh. Julia Gatto, one of Dunn's lawyers, questioned why the Trump Justice Department is prosecuting Dunn after the Republican president issued pardons in order to dismissal of assault cases. It's an obvious answer. The answer is that they have different politics and selective prosecution. Prosecutors countered that Dunn's political expression don't make him immune from prosecution for assaulting the agents. The defendant is being prosecuted for the obvious reason that he was recorded throwing a sandwich at a federal officer at point-blank range. Dunn is charged with assaulting, resisting, opposing, impeding, and intimidating and interfering with a federal officer. Dozens of Trump supporters who stormed the Capitol were convicted for felonies for assaulting or interfering with police during the J6 attack. Trump pardoned or ordered the dismissal of the charges against them all. Because a bunch of them were arrested for that never even went in the fucking building. For several hours on Monday, the judge, prosecutors, and defense attorneys individually questioned prospective jurors about their knowledge of the case. A white noisemaker prevented courtroom observers from hearing their conversations. After the jury selection started, but before jurors were seated, Dunn's attorneys asked the judge to restart the process in open court so the public could hear the responses. The judge denied the request, saying it seems drastic. Jury selection for the trial of D.C. Sandwich Guy. It's Sandwich Guy. Jury was selected Monday in a trial of a former Justice Department employee known as Sandwich Guy. A video went viral of him throwing a salami sub. Oh, so now they know the type of sandwich was a salami sub. Prosecutors hit Dunn with a misdemeanor assault charge in August. He's lucky it wasn't a ham sub. If it was a ham sub and the agent was Jewish or Muslim, he could say it was a hate crime. Throwing pork at him. Yeah, he's joking. Lightning is joking. He's being facetious, they call it. Mm-hmm. Prosecutors hit Dunn with a misdemeanor assault charge in August. That came a day after the Bureau's office failed to persuade a grand jury to indict him on a felony charge. A suboptimal result for prosecutors. Yeah, because the fucking jury, it's called jury nullification. That's what's going on. Dunn pleaded not guilty to the misdemeanor charge in September. The case is proceeding after a judge rejected the government's motion to delay the trial because of disagreement over jury instructions. The jury selection was completed Monday in open court, but the U.S. District Judge used technology, including a white noise machine, to block members of the public and media from hearing the questions posed to potential jurors. Dunn's attorneys argued the judge used the device was a violation of their client's right to have a public trial. The jury selection would start over, and Nichols denied him, also calling it drastic. Open statements are beginning Tuesday. Dunn's lawyers have claimed the case is selective and vindictive. Yeah, selective and vindictive, because they're only prosecuting people who actually hit agents with shit. Not because of the nature, throwing a soft object that caused no injury, but because of he's outspoken. So if he spit on him, then that would be no different, right? Federal prosecutors opposed Dunn's motion to dismiss, writing that Dunn was recorded throwing a sandwich at federal officers at point-blank range. The video of Dunn throwing the meat sandwich at federal officers quickly ricocheted around the internet as Washingtonians pushed back against President Trump moving to deploy federal officers. Since then, Sandwich Guy has become a bread and butter part of DC's resistance. Dunn's throw was depicted in stickers, murals, and even Halloween costumes. The sandwich incident took place around the same time National Guard troops began admiring in the Capitol. The administration also deployed additional federal agents into the city who set up police checkpoints and made immigration arrests, sparking backlash from residents who argued the moves were overreach. Yes, it's always overreach when we enforce the law, but when the Democrats were kicking down doors at 5 a.m. for people that were standing outside the Capitol, that was fine. When Tim Walz had agents shooting pepper balls at people who were sitting on their porch during COVID, that was fine. The incident captured on video. After throwing the sub, Dunn was chased and arrested by officers. Yeah, Luigi is a hero too. Yeah, that's where we're going with this. That's what they're doing. I'm going to be very very shocked to see if that guy if that guy actually gets convicted. It's going to be interesting. All right, on to the next story. Trying to move through the stories fast because I don't think we're going to have much time. I don't know how much time we're going to have tonight because it doesn't look like doesn't look like things are going well. We've been going 2 hours. There's 75 people only watching. Please hit the like. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Breaking report: Pelosi will not seek re-election in 2026. No. Trump broke Pelosi. Pelosi 85 will reportedly not seek election in 2026 after decades in Congress. That's cute. No shame in that. Texas drawl too. I don't know. Per multiple NBC News, multiple Democrat elected officials and top aides in California, Washington, say they believe Pelosi will not seek re-election after nearly 4 decades representing her San Francisco-based district. Well, her district isn't based. It's not based at all. San Francisco's not based. San Francisco's the opposite of based. I think she's preparing to exit the stage, said House Democrat leadership. I wish she would have stayed for 10 more years, said one House Democrat from California. I think she's out. I think she's going to go out with Prop 50 overwhelmingly passing. What a crowning achievement to her that is. Wow. Democrat officials and top aides in California tell Washington that they believe Pelosi will not choose to seek re-election. She's going to say, I will not choose, nor will I accept my party's nomination to be Speaker of the Potato Factory in San Francisco for another term. I think she's preparing to leave. Pelosi is one of the most wicked women to ever serve in Congress. She was the first elected to Congress in 87. She served 2 terms as House Speaker, shredded the Constitution, and spearheaded the slapdash Trump impeachment scam. On May 27, 2020, the House held its first proxy vote since Congress met in 1789, thanks to Nancy Pelosi. 7 Democrats voted by proxy in its first vote since the adoption of its party line rule. 71 Democrats, voted by proxy. Okay. In 2020, 1 Democrat in Maryland voted 7 times on legislation in Congress in districts he didn't even represent. What? 1 Democrat in Maryland voted 7 times on legislation in Congress in districts he didn't even represent. Audra says, I got 5 on it. Well, thank you. And with that, we are now just $34 away from adding an additional hour to the show. Just $34 away for 1 additional hour to the show. You know it, Stevie. I got 5 on it. For more than 2 years, Pelosi unilaterally extended her unconstitutional proxy voting scheme. Pelosi is not well. Last month, Pelosi went on a profanity-laced tirade and dropped 2 F-bombs during an interview with NBC Boston. Christina Lala wrote this. She began working for the Gateway Pundit in 2016. She's now associate editor. Pelosi will not seek re-election in 2026. Look at her. Look at how drunk she is there. She's just a drunk. She's a mad old drunk. NBC News reporter Scott Wong posted on Monday that multiple Democrat elected officials and top aides say Nancy Pelosi's done. Far-left state senator Scott Wiener has already launched his bid to replace Pelosi. It's official. I'm running for Congress to represent San Francisco. I'll fight Trump's takeover for our values and for real progress. So they're going to put a pedophile in Congress. That's crazy. That's crazy. Trump and his MAGAs extremists don't scare me. They won't stop me or the people of our great city from fighting back. Whatever. Wong quoted unnamed Democrats in Congress, such as House Democrat leadership aide, who said, "I think she's preparing to exit the stage." Just 1 year ago, Pelosi filed for re-election, continued to serve California's 11th congressional district. Another House Dem told Wong, "I wish she would stay for 10 more years." Prop 50 is Gavin Newsom's ballot initiative to bypass the state constitution to allow the legislature to engage in congressional redistricting. California state constitution requires redistricting to be done by an independent body. I don't understand how they're doing it, how they're changing the Constitution without actually. I don't understand it. I don't see how it's legal to say, well, we're going to just change it, which is just because it's just shortchanged it. It's okay. You're supposed to have 60% to change it, the Constitution in California. However, Newsom cited Trump's effort to encourage Texas to redistrict. A Bay Area Democrat told Wong that most people think it's highly unlikely she will run for another term. Other indicators include a recent remark she made about hoping to see Minority Leader Jeffries sworn in as the first black House Speaker, noting that would be the only if she's still allowed on the floor. Pelosi may be waiting to make her announcement until after Tuesday's nationwide local contests. She has backed Democrat Abigail Spanberger and Mickey Sherrill and Zoran Mandami. Pelosi served as House Speaker under Joe Biden from 2019 to 2023 and also under Barack Obama from 2007 to 2011. Her first run for Congress to represent San Francisco was 87, where she served ever since. She is 85 years old. It's a map. Come on, Jim. No, it's a pedo. Fucking that guy Wiener, Scott Wiener, is a pedo. Thank you, Steve, for the $15. And with that $15, that makes we are $19 away. $19 away from one additional hour. $19 away. Yes, thank you, Steve. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Pelosi spokesman Ian Krager didn't comment on the rumor of whether Pelosi will or will not seek another term. Bella is moving. 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 Okay. Yes. Welcome. Thank you. Well, thank you. Thank you. She urges all Californians to join in the mission on the path to take back the House for Democrats. The Breitbart says Nancy Pelosi's retirement causes a stir among Democrats. I think she's out. I'll look at her with the walker. Democrats are speculating that 85-year-old former speaker will soon step down into retirement. They're bracing for retirement. She's expected to make an announcement on her future after Tuesday's elections, when voters will consider a ballot measure known as Proposition 50 that would redraw the state's congressional lines. Pelosi is a prominent proponent of the plan and cited several Democrat sources reportedly believe she will not seek re-election. One House Democrat from California said they wish she would stay for another decade. House Democrat leadership aide, I think she's preparing to exit the stage. Meanwhile, the most radical leftist pedophile in California politics, Scott Wiener, is preparing to challenge Pelosi in a primary. He's responsible for the most radical and arguably the worst legislation to come out of Sacramento. His greatest hits include a mask ban that attempts to unconstitutionally to make it easier to dox ICE agents. It overrides local zoning laws to allow high-rise developments through transit centers, a law decriminalizing loitering, which led to an explosion of child prostitution and was repealed, the transgender sanctuary state law encouraging minors to seek surgery and drug treatments in the state, a law reducing penalties for same-sex statutory rape of underage victims, and many more. He also was behind the law that made it no longer a crime to intentionally infect somebody with AIDS. Yeah, Scott Wiener did that. Not a crime to intentionally infect somebody with AIDS. That was Scott Wiener. Due to Pelosi and her husband Paul having made hundreds of millions of dollars off her insider knowledge, Senator Josh Hawley reintroduced in April the Preventing Elected Leadership from Owning Securities and Investment Act, Pelosi, per Breitbart News. That's awesome. The Pelosi Act. preventing Pelosi from being Pelosi. Two wieners, yep. Indeed, the news outlet reported in October a new in-depth analysis demonstrates how the Democrat Party has become the party of the rich and the elite. A remarkable political alignment in recent years that has Democrats in Congress now representing more than 75% of the wealthiest congressional districts in the country. In November 2024, Pelosi filed to run for re-election in 2026 after having been in the House since 1987. This is an interesting story. This is probably the reason why our utility costs haven't gone down, and our gas stuff has stayed high. It's because the U.S. becomes the first country to export 10 million tons of LNG in a single month. Yes, we're exporting so much that our prices are going through the roof because it's supply and demand. The U.S. become the first country to export 10 million tons, million metric tons of liquefied natural gas in a single month, according to preliminary data from financial firm LSEG. The U.S. exported a record 10.1 metric tons of liquid fuel in October, up from a revised figure of 9.1 in September. Already the world's largest LNG exporter, the U.S. has been ramping up sales with 4 record-setting months in 2025. The surge was led by the startup venture globalist Plaquemines export plant and a ramp-up of Shanray's Corpus Christi Stage 3 project, the data showed. Would tick bikes and a rumble rant. Would tick bikes and a rumble rant. Would tick bikes and a rumble rant. Rumble rant. Rumble man. Well, thank you, Wood Tick Mike, with another 5. Another 5 from Wood Tick Mike. Wood Tick Mike, sent a 5, sent a 5. So now we are only $14 away from an extra hour. Just $14 away from an extra hour. Why crapola? I mean, the more, we're exporting so much of this stuff that's causing our prices to go up. Remember when electricity went through the roof? It was because we started exporting all this gas, which this natural gas is what provides electricity in a lot of places. So you have peaker plants, they're called peaker plants that generate electricity when it gets in high demand, and they're run on natural gas. That way they can fire quick, boom, 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 go and create electricity. So when the gas prices shot through the roof because we were exporting it all, so as we're exporting it, selling it overseas, the costs are going up because there's less of it here in the country. That's how supply and demand works. So, exporting it's not the greatest thing in the world. The Plaquemines facility located in Louisiana sold 2.2 million metric tons last month, surpassing its previous high of 1.6 million. Yeah, gas turbines, they're great for for when you get high demand, like real fast peak. You gotta no more gas stoves. Yeah, that's Democrats. And then Shanray's Corpus Christi export facility exported 1.6 million metric tons, also a record. With Sabine Pass exporting 2.6 million in October, the company sold a combined 4.2 million metric tons. 42% of all the LNG exported by the U.S. When completed, the Corpus Christi Stage 3 operation will allow Shanray to export more than 50 million metric tons a year starting in 2026. It's good if you're getting royalty checks. It's bad if you're paying for electricity. Yes, we should keep all our resources. Yeah. Venture Global and Shanray were responsible for 72% of the country's total exports. Europe is the biggest customer. Europe remained the prime destination for U.S. LNG, with 6.9 metric million tons, or 69% of total exports, heading to the continent last month. Oh, here we go. It says G Sharkman. It says off. And I totally forgot to do this for Woodtick Mike. I'm sorry. And with that, we are now $9, just $9 away from an extra hour. We're cutting it close, man. We're right there. Will we do it? Will we make it? Will we make the $9? Will we make the $9? Wow. 3 minutes and 42 seconds left. Will we make the $9? Nine. Mm-hmm. Europe continued to fill storage ahead of the winter. LSEG ship track data showed. Thank you very much, G Sharkman. Figure compares to 6.2 million metric tons in September. U.S. LNG exports to Asia last month stood at 1.96 million metric tons compared to 1.63 in September. U.S. LNG exports to Latin America fell in October to 0.57, down from September's 0.63. South American continent prepares to enter warmer summer months. Egypt, meanwhile, bought 5 cargoes for a total of 0.43 million metric tons, less than the 0.5 it purchased in September. There were 2 cargoes that went to Senegal for a total of 0.1 million metric tons, and 2 that were seeking orders from customers for another 0.1, according to LSEG ship tracking data. Cargoes nowhere. In October, gas traded at 10.88 per million British thermal units at the European benchmark, down from 11.13 in September. At the Japan-Korea marker benchmark in Asia, October's price was 11.11 compared to 11.32 in September. The TTF and JKM prices were so close that they provided little incentive for U.S. LNG exporters to shift from selling to European markets to the more distant Asian markets. Yes. That's what I say. Drill, baby, drill doesn't mean exporting it. That's my opinion, too. That's my opinion, too. Let's see what Reuters has to say about this. U.S. becomes the first country in history to export 10 million tons of LNG in a single month. Wow, we're setting records. The U.S. become the first country to export 10 million metric tons of liquefied natural gas in a single month. The U.S. exported a record 10.1. We're already the world's largest LNG exporter. It's the same thing. Is this the same shit? Same story? No exporte. That's right. No exporte. No exporte. Okay, yeah, it's the same exact story. So we're going to move on. Okay, this is insane. This is just insane. Insane. The Illinois General Assembly just passed a ridiculous HB 1312, a misguided attempt to obstruct law and order. The bill undermines community safety by providing sanctuary to criminals at civic centers and other locations statewide. It's also highly illegal. You cannot set up safe zones like they're playing it or tag or whatever you guys called it, where you have home base where you're safe. Our brave law enforcement officers will not be slowed down by obstructionist legislations. The deportations will continue. Yeah, see? Yeah. New Illinois bill establishes safe zones to shield aliens from ICE arrest. ICE out of Illinois. Look at all these. It's all women. Why is it all women? Why is it all women's? This is literal sedition. Start arresting these criminal politicians and charge them with seditious conspiracy. That was said by a very wise man. Very wise man. Very wise man. And it's reduce verse uno on the Fourth Amendment. Yeah. The Illinois General Assembly's HB 1312 is a reckless sanctuary carve-out that prioritizes illegal immigrants over public safety, while D.C. passes bills like the No Asylum for Criminals Act to deport felons. Illinois politicians shield lawbreakers in courthouses and hospitals. ICE exists to enforce federal law. State obstruction only empowers cartels and endangers communities. Chicago's violent crime surge provides sanctuary policies fail. If Illinois wants safe zones, they should start by securing their own streets instead of sabotaging federal enforcement. That's right. Oh, Audra says, I'm trying to cover the 9, but it's not letting me. What do you mean it's not letting you? It's not letting you on YouTube? It's not letting you... Oh, Audra comes in with 10 for a $10 super sticker.
Tactical assessment. Red Chinese victory. Impossible. Tactical assessment. Red Chinese victory. Impossible. America will never fall to communist invasion. Communism is the very definition of failure.
Thank you, Audra, very much. It wouldn't let you send a super chat at all? Why? What's going on? Why can't I send super chats? That's weird. That's weird. That's weird. When do you get your package? Okay. I can't wait to grab your package, Snarf. And with that, we are now hit the 1 extra hour. So I hide, I come decent way. And with the $10, that means we are $74 away from a second additional hour. Put that up. Go like this. Thank you very much. You were successful. Yes, successful. Let me do this correction here. I do this, and then do this, and this, and this. Come over here. Do this, go this way, with this, and then we'll start another goal. 15 super chats for 1 hour. Delete this. Character $74. Start the goal. There we go. New goal started on YouTube. That's right. Boom, 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 boom. All right. Well, we got another hour to go now. I like the sticker. So super sticker work. Third Amendment, you get that confused sometimes. Yeah, you know. It's confusing. It is. And let's see. Jonathan Turley has some thoughts about this. So let's read it. He's generally a pretty smart guy. Illinois bars ICE arrests in state courthouses and safe zones. Illinois has now joined California and Connecticut in barring federal immigration officials from conducting civil arrests of illegal aliens in or around state courthouses. The sanctuary law appears largely performative since it also appears unconstitutional. It is difficult to see how a state can bar the exercise of federal jurisdiction, at least after the Civil War. J.B. Prickster has been ratcheting up the rhetoric against ICE and the Trump administration for months, including analogies to the Nazis and claims that democracy is dying. The new law, however, crosses the constitutional Rubicon by not only limiting the operation of immigration and customs enforcement, but also establishing a 1,000-foot buffer zone outside the buildings. The law makes courthouses equivalent to churches where suspects can claim sanctuary not only when they cross the threshold, but also within 1,000 feet. Unless, of course, ICE ignores the law. Hold on one second. Still watching Joe. You'll be back soon. Only how's illegals. What? Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy. Recently, a chief judge in Cook County issued an order with the same prohibition. A few other judges in other states have issued similar orders. The authority for the orders is highly dubious. The federal government can cite laws mandating the arrest of certain individuals for immigration violations, mandatory detention of aliens who are removable. The most immediate problem for Illinois is the supremacy clause of the United States. I get the 5-packs. Okay. The Constitution and laws of the United States, which shall be made pursuant thereof, shall be the supreme law of the land. Anything in the Constitution or laws of any state to the contrary notwithstanding. Okay, so that's what's going on with that. So the second problem is the Supreme Court, which has repeatedly rejected such state authority to dictate federal enforcement or policies. You got Harris Aids versus Shaughnessy from 1952. The United States has exclusive control over any policy towards aliens. South Carolina v. Baker, 1988, and Mayo versus United States, 1943. Ironically, as I previously pointed out, these blue states will face an unusual authority cited against them. Barack Obama. It was President Obama who went to the Supreme Court to strike down state laws that interfered with federal immigration enforcement, even in assisting that enforcement. In Arizona versus United States, he largely prevailed, and the Supreme Court affirmed that the government of the United States has broad, undoubted power over the subject of immigration and the status of aliens. This recognized authority goes back to the 19th century. The court has ruled that Congress has the right, as it may see fit, to expel aliens of a particular class or to permit them to remain. It has undoubtedly the right to take any proper means to carry out the system which it provides. That was a case from Something Wong v. United States in 1893. Fong Yu Ting. The law also creates the ability to sue federal authorities for false imprisonment under state law. Keep in mind that law creates a 1,000-foot circle around any state court, creating safe zones for illegal immigrants. The provision in the state legislation stated, Section 15, civil arrest prohibited in certain locations. A person duly and in good faith attending a state court proceeding in which the person is a party, a witness, or a potential witness, or a court companion of a party, witness, or potential witness is privileged from civil arrest while going to, remaining at, or returning from court proceeding, including at the place within the court building, on the premises, any sidewalk, parking lot, or street surrounding there, on any public way within 1,000 feet. Presumably, if you rent an apartment within one of these zones, you would be able to create effective immunity by simply signing a lease. As long as you stay within the specified public areas, you will be protected from civil arrest. With Illinois and other states pushing apps tracking ICE operations, a suspect could step outside onto the sidewalk or public stage to claim protection from any civil arrest. It's unclear whether landlords will raise the rents in light of the new immunity amenity. Keep in mind, if this were constitutional, the state could add a list of sensitive places from city services to clinics. The result would be a mosaic of safety zones that would be maddening for federal authorities. Notably, blue states have attempted the same tactic to circumvent the Second Amendment. The legal infirmities behind these laws is irrelevant for politicians seeking to virtue signal. However, it will come at a real cost for individuals who mistakenly rely on these assurances and assume that they are protected within safe zones. Many states during the desegregation period challenged federal authority in fighting against civil rights. They also failed. Of course, the greatest irony is that the two figures who will be cited against this move are the two favorite sons of Illinoisans who became presidents, Lincoln and Obama. Both reinforced the supremacy of federal jurisdiction. Indeed, the bill was passed just a couple days before the anniversary of Lincoln's election as the 16th president of the United States. He then faced states that claimed they could take the ultimate step of removing themselves from federal authority and jurisdiction. Now, Illinois claims the right to dictate when federal authority can be exercised and makes federal authorities liable for violating specified state safe zones. Good luck with that. This column also appeared on Fox.com. Illinois bars ICE arrests in state courthouses and safe zones. Illinois has now joined California and Connecticut, barring federal immigration agents from conducting civil arrests of illegal aliens in or around state courthouses. The sanctuary law appears largely performative since it also appears unconstitutional. It's difficult to see how the state can bar the exercise of federal jurisdiction, at least after the Civil War. This is the same exact fucking article. What the hell? This is the same article. Oh, Nixie Nix is going to bed? All right, thank you. We got this from Real Clear Politics. Blue state anti-ICE laws are unconstitutional virtue signal. Wait a minute, is this another? Illinois passed a sanctuary law blocking ICE arrests or courthouses, creating a legal experts. If this is the same article again. It's the same article. It's just, everybody just used Jonathan Turley's article. I can't believe that. All right. Well, all this so librarians can have street tacos nearby. It's crazy. What's UNC? Okay, kids, what's UNC? University of North Carolina? Or, it's written by ChatGPT. What is going on? Welcome to journalism. Man, it's crazy. Chicago woman appears to slam her car into the side of an ICE vehicle before getting dragged out. Claims she was the one who was crashed into. Video footage shows locals blocking ICE vehicles in West Town before the collision. You hit her. We have it on video, bystanders claim. The woman, Diane Figueroa, claimed she was on her way to work when the incident unfolded, despite video footage appearing to show her slamming into the ICE vehicle. Figueroa says she was the one who was ran into. I don't know if you guys know how accidents work, but when you're going forward and you hit somebody, when you drive into someone, that's you hitting them, not them hitting you. That's you hitting them. So I was in shock and terrified. The video evidence is clear. Agents crashed into me. I was not involved in any protest, and I intend to seek justice for how I was treated. Figueroa says, yeah. Do you believe her? Does anybody believe this woman? I don't believe this woman. I think she's a liar. And I'm going to show you why.
Yo, run her over. Y'all finna get a whole lawsuit. What? Whole lawsuit. Yeah. Hit and run. Hit and run. That's a hit and run. Hit and run. Hit and run. That's a hit and run. Hit and run. Hit and run. Look, hey, watch out with that weapon. That weapon. Yo, watch out. What's wrong with you? You hit it. You hit her. Yo. What's wrong? You hit her.
You hit her. Are these people retarded? Look at the damage on the car. Where is the damage on this woman's car? The front end of her car. The front end of her car is damaged. She is at fault in this accident. She would get the ticket for this accident. She hit them. That's how it works. That's the law. You can't run into somebody. You know, she clearly saw what was going on, saw them turning around, tried to do whatever, and ran into them.
What's wrong? You hit her. You hit her. You guys hit her. You guys hit her. What's wrong with y'all? Y'all hit her? Y'all bust a whole U-turn in the middle of the street. Y'all hit her. Y'all on camera. Leave her alone. She ain't even do shit. She trying to go to work. She's trying to go to work.
How do these people that are outside know that she's trying to go to work? How do these people know any fucking thing? They're all liars. I trust none of these people. As far as I'm concerned, they should all be arrested. Every one of them, especially the guy yelling right now.
Oh, what? Crazy shit. Y'all some crazy. Y'all got no heart, for real. No heart. No heart.
Oh, she's kicking agents?
She's a female.
She's kicking agents? That's violently resisting arrest. She's kicking agents. She needs to go to prison. This is worse than any January 6th person did to any cop on January 6th. This is more assaulting than I've seen on any video of January 6th. Yeah. Wait for the I can't breathe. Yeah. How does it know it's a she? Yeah. This bitch better go to prison.
Right now. You guys hit her. How you guys gonna arrest her? You guys hit her. Man, how you gonna arrest her, Brad?
Fucking Nazis, yeah.
Y'all bogus as fuck. You hit her. You guys hit her. You guys hit her.
Wow, these people are fucking delusional. Yeah, these people are fucking delusional. Fucking delusional. Yeah. There's a complex situation. Video may suggest one thing, but personal accounts matter too. Oh, yeah. The video may suggest one thing. The fucking video that shows her running into them. Video may suggest but personal accounts. Yeah, lol. These people are so stupid. We have it on video. ICE ran into the woman. Video shows the complete opposite. Every time a lift gets caught on video, they invent a new lie to cover it. Video footage... If that's what it looks like to me. Also, clearly an intense situation taking place in the middle of the street. Even if it wasn't intentional, she shouldn't be trying to race around an ICE vehicle. Trump's goons are behaving like the way they were designed by Miller too. The video is clear. These idiots hit her. Who's this fucking retard? Look at this. See. Oh, look, 191 followers. Oh, sons of a Zecker. Oh, look at this. Following. Oh, you know what he gets? He gets this. Block. That's what he gets. Because he's a tard. And I don't deal with tards. I don't want to see tards. I don't want to listen to tards. And that's a bot. There's so many fucking bots on X. I'm getting so sick of it. It's like non-stop bots. It's bad. Like the accounts are always so obvious. They'll have exactly the same number of followers as they have people following them as followers. So it's like a thing where it's probably they're inter-following each other bot accounts, just like that guy had. And it says, we're coming for you. If you're an illegal alien driving on America's highways, under Secretary Noem's leadership, ICE is partnering with state and local law enforcement to assist federal immigration officers in our effort to make America safe again. We are working with state and local law enforcement under 287G agreements to crack down and remove these public safety threats from American road. Yeah. You agree? Bots galore. Yeah, it's bad. Yeah, they're paid bots. It's nuts. Yeah. Yeah, this happens often. Just getting on camera equals convenience. Yeah, it's crazy. Illegal immigrants are obtaining vehicle registrations in the state of Texas without driver's licenses. State Rep Brian Harris recently received alarming reports of illegal immigrants being able to register their vehicles, and his office is now probing state officials to stop this. This comes as ICE made over 120 arrests on Houston highways in a single day last week. I'm sorry. Yeah, we are aware that during open border presidency of Biden-Harris, the United States, and Texas specifically, was invaded by millions of illegal immigrants, including violent murderers, terrorists, and drug cartels. While President Trump has taken unprecedented steps and actions to secure the border, however, my office has recently received alarming reports of legal aliens being able to register their vehicles in the state of Texas. To my shock, upon investigation, my office has verified these reports are in fact real. The Texas Transportation Code, the Texas Department of Motor Vehicles, has been given broad authority by the legislature to determine what personal identification must be present to register a vehicle. And I'm writing today to inquire what steps, if any, the DMV has taken to implement to determine whether the owner of the vehicle is a citizen or lawfully in the country before issuing vehicle registrations. If no such verification is occurring, then please consider this letter to my formal request for DMV to immediately promulgate any and all necessary rules to ensure no vehicles being registered by illegal immigrants in Texas. Thank you for your attention to this matter. More here. ICE nabs 120 illegal aliens. 120. Uh-oh. Mm-hmm. Texas allowing vehicle registration without verifying legal status is a glaring example of bureaucratic failure. While President Trump has secured the border, states must eliminate loopholes that enable illegal immigrants to exploit taxpayer-funded systems. ICE crackdown is crucial, but Texas DMV negligence undermines enforcement. Medicaid's collapse and strained public services prove that the cost of unchecked access. Every registration handed to an illegal alien is a subsidy for lawbreaking. States must enforce strict ID checks or face fiscal ruin. That's crazy. Oh. Mm-hmm. Hold on, sorry. Got sidetracked about something. Mm-hmm. Okay, here's a report from the Daily Wire about it. Since this website uses cookies, such a ICE tabs 120. ICE tabs over 120s. Why do I have to see this? After recently received information, federal agents arrested more than 120 illegal immigrants and drivers on the Texas roadways amid an investigation that found a major loophole. The Lone Star State has allowed individuals lacking immigration status to register vehicles. Joe was short tonight. Yeah, Joe was short every night. Would have been nice if he would have raided my stream or something. Just saying. Would have been nice. Immigration and Customs Enforcement made the arrest in a single day last week in Houston. Our roads are dangerous, often unlicensed and uninsured. Illegal aliens who should not be behind the wheel. A It comes as one Texas lawmaker probes officials after he recently received alarming reports of illegal immigrants being able to register their vehicles in Texas without state license. The Daily Wire has learned. Republican State Senator Brian Harrison sent a letter to Monday to the Texas Department of Motor Vehicles Board to crack down on state authorities issuing the vehicle license registrations without proof of citizenship. Texas government should be a force multiplier, not adding to the problem. So suck it up with the chatbots. Yeah, well, I don't know. We made over 120 arrests in Houston, October 29th. Oh.
Go ahead.
Why they play with the music? I don't know why they do the music, man. It makes it difficult. I can't do this music stuff. All right. I'm ready today to inquire what steps have been taken. Many of those caught were carrying California issued CDLs. Wow. That's crazy. All right. All right. Here we go now. We got the illegal alien roundup. It's been 2 weeks since the last roundup. You guys ready? Here's a rundown of 25 of the cases that have come to light. I'm going to post links in the replies. It says, I live in the Houston area, and I don't know a single person, including myself, that hasn't been hit by an illegal with no insurance. Who's to blame? Who is to blame? Who is to blame? That's the question. Who is to blame? It's got to be the politicians. Got to be the politicians to blame. Got to be the politicians to blame. I mean, it's got to be. Gotta be. Gotta. Got to be the politicians to blame. That's the only thing I can say about that. All right. We used to go to flea markets on weekends, and if someone yelled out immigration, it was a mass exodus. La migra, la migra. Here's a rundown. So you got Riverside, California, illegal alien and fatal pedestrian hit and run, Utah, Catawba County, North Carolina, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Essex County, New Jersey, Mobile, Alabama, Tulsa, Clark County, Illinois, Chicago, Illinois, Knox County, Arapahoe County, Chicago, Illinois, Addison County, San Bernardino County, Mecklenburg County, Cameron County, Alluche County, Travis County, Waukesha County, Peach County, Georgia, Dakota County, Nebraska, Greenville County, South Carolina. Here's some of the pictures. There's a lot of white people, just so you know. These are all listed as whites. So Joe's right. No one is ever to blame. Yeah. All these white people, look at them. All these white people committing these crimes. Oh. So Riverside County, California, an illegal alien was arrested for a fatal pedestrian DUI hit and run. Per multiple sources, law enforcement killing a South Carolina high school student DUI hit and run crash. This guy. All right. Utah County, Utah, women on detainer arrested for fatal pedestrian accident. Narendra Miranda was arrested for manslaughter for hitting a girl while driving with trash bags on the hood. We saw this. This one was driving with trash bags on the hood.
Police say 28-year-old Narendra Miranda had trash bags on the hood of her car as she drove through the mobile home park.
He doesn't know why the lady, didn't look out, why she had her bags on her car.
Hitting and killing 2-year-old Claudia Isola and injuring 4-year-old Ezekiel.
She could have just walked to the dumpster, throw out her trash, went back to her car, and head her way.
Their aunt, Kathleen Vaca Cepeda, says Ezekiel is home from the hospital, but still very hurt.
He can't walk. His left leg and foot is turning purple as of now.
A Guatemalan native, Miranda was arrested on a manslaughter charge and has a federal ICE hold. Police say 28-year-old.
Catawba County, North Carolina, an illegal alien arrested for beating a man to death with a bat. Search warrant reveals that an illegal alien beat a man to death with a bat, crushing his skull in North Carolina on Thursday. These are the savages the Democrats love to protect.
This is the Catawba County home investigators say became the site of a murder investigation Thursday morning when the victim of an assault the night before died at a local hospital. Sheriff's deputies are now charging this man, 49-year-old Roberto Ariola, with murder. A search warrant shows eyewitnesses told police Ariola beat the victim, Jose Figueroa, in the head with a baseball bat. We talked to a man named Benjamin who has family here.
Benjamin.
and how crazy is this world coming into, and I think we're getting so greedy. I don't know if they argue about money or something, but to kill somebody with a bat, it ain't no feelings.
That search warrant shows investigators seized a baseball bat from this property after witnesses told them they saw a baseball bat in Ariola's pickup truck, which is still here at the scene. Court records show Ariola's listed address is where the crime happened, which deputies noted in the search warrant had been turned into 2 or 3 living spaces. Police say when they got to the home for a disorderly conduct call, Figueroa was unconscious. Deputies located Ariola close by.
I'm glad because whoever done that kind of stuff gotta pay the consequences and gotta be, I would say, for the rest of his life in jail.
Catawba County investigators say they believe Ariola is an undocumented immigrant. Thursday morning, a judge denied him a bond.
You believe he was an undocumented immigrant? What would make you think they're undocumented immigrants? The way they sound there and what their way they're living? Is that what you think? You think that would be the case? No. Tulsa County, Oklahoma, man and detainer arrested for nearly hacking a man's arm off. Oh, what do you know? Tulsa County, Oklahoma, earlier this month, Jesus Orlando Burgos Ramos was arrested for assault and battery with a dangerous weapon. He has an immigration detainer hold. Look at this. Oh, look at him. Another white guy right here. Yes, Ramos. Convicted felon arrested in parking lot assault. Look at him. Burgos Ramos. Jesus Orlando. Male. White. My white guys. Essex County, New Jersey, man on detainer arrested for killing girlfriend. Essex County, New Jersey yesterday. Oh, what we got here? Essex County, New Jersey yesterday, Andres Calavacci Paz was arrested for murder and desecrating a human remains in connection with the death of his 28-year-old girlfriend, Diana Kazanjo Malaz. At least New Jersey's got him as Hispanic. Mobile County, Alabama, legal aid arrested for DUI and accidental death. This guy, man detained by ICE after DUI crash in Mobile, Alabama. Halls County, Georgia. Man on detainer arrested for rape and false imprisonment. Man charged with rape in Georgia caught fleeing in Texas, now on immigration detainer. Oh, let's see what we got here.
31-year-old jailer Alexander Tovar Miano was wanted for a sexual assault offense. He was allegedly traveling to Laredo by bus when he was arrested on October the 10th. He was served with an arrest warrant charging him with aggravated sexual assault out of the Hull County Sheriff's Office out of Gainesville, Georgia. 31-year-old jailer Alexander Tovar Miano.
Why when anyone, and I do it too, I do it all the time, but why is it whenever on the news whenever they're saying a Spanish name, do they always go, like I do it too, but why? Just speak it the way you normally speak on the news. Like I do it to be funny, but I don't know. Suffolk County, New York, a woman on detainer arrested for a fatal pedestrian hit and run. They must have me blocked, Nanya 40. Who's got you blocked? What are you talking about? Went to Hillcrest years ago on Traders Village, was out 290 towards Tomball. Earlier this month, Sylvia Alvarez de Reyes was arrested for leaving the scene of an accident involving a fatality. The death of Eli Damien Mazatlan.
She is accused of fatally striking a man crossing the street in Riverhead last night. News 12 Long Island's Jonathan Gordon has the latest from outside the Southampton Town Courthouse.
Prosecutors say that Sylvia Alvarez de Reyes, the woman accused of being behind the wheel of that fatal crash, only had her learner's permit. Exclusive witness video given to News 12 shows the large crime scene along Flanders Road in Riverhead last night.
Sometimes the guys ride fast and and sometimes the people should just walk and I don't see the car.
This crosswalk between the traffic circle and Vale Avenue is where Southampton Town Police say Sylvia Alvarez de Reyes struck and killed 46-year-old Ever Eli Damien Mazat. The Flanders resident died at the scene, according to prosecutors. They accuse Reyes of stopping moments after the collision, then leaving, only to return hours later. That's when police arrested the 46-year-old. The judge issued $25,000 cash bail. Her attorney argued that the amount was a punishment for a first-time offender. Back at the scene today, East End residents claim they've raised safety concerns about this crosswalk, about a lack of streetlights and visibility.
Either the light get moved to the crosswalk or the crosswalk get moved to the light, or they put in a lighted crosswalk.
Reyes pleaded not guilty to one count of leaving the scene of an accident involving a fatality.
Yeah, that's why I write with quotes. Yeah, no shit, it's a punishment. Yeah, it's a punishment. Yeah. And then this Tulsa, Oklahoma, a man and a detainer arrested for rape, wanted for smuggling. Tulsa, Oklahoma in August, Pedro Mejia was arrested for rape, domestic assault, and kidnapping. He has an immigration detainer hold. Male Hispanic. There you go. Mejia, Pedro, M.H. Clark County, Illinois, illegal arrest for DUI accident killed 2. Edwin Pacheco Meza is accused of reckless homicide and DUI in a fatal accident that killed Coles County board member Michael Clayton and his wife Gail. I wonder what Jamie Prickster has to say about this.
Show the driver who is accused of causing it is now facing multiple felony charges. The crash happened outside of Westfield on West Lincoln Street near South Division Street just after 7 p.m. on Friday. The Clark County coroner says husband and wife Michael and Gail Clayton were killed when a van crossed the center line and hit their truck head on. The Coles County board chairman says Michael was in his second term as a board member. 2 others in the truck were hurt and taken to a hospital. The driver of the van, who state police identified as 34-year-old Edwin Pacheco Meza, is facing charges of reckless homicide and aggravated DUI. He was also issued 8 tickets. Court records show the driver who is accused of...
Yeah, and I'm sure Prickster will protect them and shield them. Morgan County, Alabama, man on detainer arrested for murder for fatal car accident. Adelaido Jimenez Barrentos faces 3 counts of murder in connection to a fatal 2020 car accident. While his indictment lists 3 counts of murder, only one victim is named, Tamaria Tami. Yeah, it's just why they said, we don't want to do anything about DUI.
Morgan County man in jail tonight. He was arrested on a warrant after he was indicted in a fatal crash 3.5 years ago. That arrest was yesterday. Adelaido Barrientos faces multiple charges, including reckless murder in connection with the crash that killed Tamaria Martin back in 2020. It led to Barrientos' indictment in early 2022. The grand jury found reason to believe he was driving under the influence when his car struck Martin's car. Barrientos is held on a $50,000 bond, but also an ICE detainer that will prevent his release. It's not clear when he'll appear in court.
Oh. Chicago, Illinois, illegal alien arrest for stabbing teens on flight. An Indian national on an expired AutoPen Biden student visa has been arrested after stabbing 2 teens, one in the head and the other in the shoulder with a metal fork, and then slapping a flight attendant on a flight out. Wow.
Tonight, a passenger accused of stabbing 2 teenagers and slapping a flight attendant and who forced a plane bound for Germany to make an unscheduled stop in Boston is facing charges. Breaking tonight, investigators say Praneeth Kumar Usirapalli was on board a Lufthansa flight from Chicago to Frankfurt Saturday when he attacked 2 other passengers with a metal fork, striking one in the clavicle, the other in the back of the head. After a scuffle with the cabin crew, the plane landed in Boston, where Usirapalli was arrested. Tonight,
Wow. Knox County, Tennessee, man on detainer arrested for attempted murder and kidnapping. Let's see here. And then Joe had a comment. He said the name is pronounced Adelaido. Yeah, Adelaido. Yodel the name, yeah. Adelaido. These DNA tests have passed for non-resident identity will narrow down the true syndicates and dark truths. I think it's a dual-edged sword and eventually will be abused on citizens. Yeah, probably. He's on an immigration detainer. So let's see, this guy. It says here, Jose Hernandez, conditional release order for second degree. He had a conditional release for second degree murder attempt. He had a conditional release order for aggravated kidnapping. He had a 12-hour hold for immigration ICE, second degree murder attempt, warrant. Oh, $25,000. What? This is crazy. Why would they conditional release him? Arapahoe County, Colorado, illegal alien arrested for murder after shooting. Arapahoe County, Colorado, illegal alien Celine Valeda Arolena has been charged with murder. His victim died in the hospital. The suspect arrested last week in connection with a shooting on Interstate 225. Hey, how are you, man? Hey, man, how you doing? Bano Martinez 90. How you doing? How you doing? Cold case, scenario, etc. If it's a homicide we all agree with, or parole situations. Very good. Thank you. You're doing well. Thanks for asking. No problem. Thanks for stopping by. I do these shows every night at 10 p.m. Eastern time, usually 10 p.m. Eastern time, usually every night of the week. Sometimes not, sometimes yes. A suspect was arrested last week in a connection with a shooting on Interstate 225, which has been charged with first-degree murder. Celine Valeda Orlano was charged Thursday by members of the Aurora Police Department Fugitive Apprehension and Narcotics Unit. Orlana was initially arrested for attempted first-degree murder and other charges. Sunday night, the victim, 30-year-old Aurora man, died in a local hospital for injuries sustained in the shooting, which occurred during the early morning hours of Saturday. On the I-255 near 6th Avenue, Aurora investigators worked with the 18th Judicial District to amend the charges. Those charges were approved by a judge late Monday. He's now charged by the Arapahoe District Court with one count of first-degree murder after deliberation, first-degree assault, and menacing illegal discharge. We don't get the information. We'd have to look up the guy, see the reporting to see. In Chicago, migrant arrested for repeatedly stabbing victim. A Venezuelan migrant has been detained after allegedly stabbing a man who refused to delete a video in back of the yards. It's his 8th arrest in 22 months, according to court records. Oh, what do you know? Migrant arrested 8 times since 2024, stabbed a man who refused to delete a video. I won't let them remove you. Look at this. Yes, Nancy Pelosi from the voter rolls, baby. That's what they want. What they want. I'm gonna pull this up real quick here. Go back. But we're gonna pull this up real quick. Then I'm gonna go back. We're gonna read about the story. Stabby McStab, that's his name. How's my stream going? My stream's going great. It's always going great. My streams are always great. Migrants arrested 8 times since 2024. Stabbed man who refused to delete video. A Venezuelan illegal alien who's been arrested 8 times in less than 2 years is now detained on allegations that he repeatedly stabbed a man in the back of the yard sidewalk to steal his phone. Judge Antarda Rivera on Wednesday ordered 26-year-old Anthony Vasquez Gudez detained on charges of robbery and 3 counts of aggravated battery for the attack at the 4800 block of South Ashland Avenue. Oh, 48th and Ashland. I stream every day at 10 p.m. Eastern time, yes. I go usually a minimum of 2.5 hours. But for every $75 in donations that comes in, I add an hour. And so far, we're in 1 extra hour. We're working on a second extra hour. Prosecutor said the victim was recorded in the neighborhood on his phone with plans to send a video to his family when Vasquez Gudez confronted him and demanded that he delete the footage. When the man refused, Vasquez Gudez allegedly pulled out a 6-inch knife and stabbed him multiple times until the victim surrendered the device. Yeah, Mississippi had 40 cops arrested for helping gangsters. FBI got him. Did you see that? Yeah, I saw it. I don't know. We'll pull it up tonight or not. But yeah, it was cartels. They were working with cartels to smuggle drugs. Vasquez Gudez was arrested last week in a separate incident, allegedly threatening a person with a knife and repeatedly kicking a Chicago police officer who was trying to arrest him. Officers reported that a kitchen knife fell to the ground during the struggle. Court records show Vasquez Gudez has been arrested 8 times since January 2024. The cases include multiple shoplifting, domestic battery, and driving without a license twice. He received a 32-day sentence earlier this month for felony shoplifting and failed to appear in court for the driving matters. According to court records, prosecutors dropped all the other cases. They always pack up their kids and drive to a nice neighborhood. I've never seen trick-or-treaters in years. Had more 40 years ago when there were fewer kids. Yeah. Do I play any games? Why? Do you want to play Global Thermonuclear War or something? How about a nice game of chess? Do you know that movie reference? Anyone? I do. So yeah, this guy should be deported immediately. It said, Addison County, Vermont, illegal alien arrested for attempted murder of a woman. Addison County, Vermont, in September, illegal alien Vicente de la Cruz Rodriguez was arrested for attempted murder after a domestic assault. Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. You've dropped a follow to catch more awesome content. That's great. Oh, tic-tac-toe? Yes, play tic-tac-toe. That's how you realize that you can't win in global thermonuclear war. How do we get it to play itself? Everyone knows that movie reference, Unk. So this guy here, let's see. This guy here with the tattoos on his neck. Always some tattoos on your neck. That's a good giveaway. So New Haven, Vermont, age 28, second degree attempted murder. Troopers from New Haven Barracks were dispatched. Family fight, domestic. Transported with fear of bodily injury. Vincent was arrested without incident, transported back to New Haven Barracks. He was lodged in conditions of a Marble Valley Correction Facility, hold without bail. He's scheduled to appear. Bernardino County, California. Illegal alien trucker arrested for fatal DUI crash. For multiple sources, Jasnashpreet Singh, the semi-truck driver, is suspected of killing 3 people in a DUI crash on 10 freeway in Ontario yesterday, is an Indian illegal alien who was caught and released at the California border by Biden administration in March 2022. DHS photo of him attached via federal sources. I'm told ICE is placing a detainer request on Singh with San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department, where he's in custody on suspicion of DUI causing great bodily injury and gross vehicular manslaughter. He has not been formally charged yet. Police say Singh was speeding and under the influence, never hit his brakes when he crashed into a slow-moving traffic on the freeway, causing a devastating chain reaction, killing 3 people. If I don't mind, can I suggest you something? Sure, I always take suggestions. Wow. Wow, that's a crash, all right. Horrific dash cam footage of deadly crash was obtained by ABC7. Shocking dash cam footage captured a moment when a semi-truck plowed into multiple vehicles on the 10 freeway in Ontario, causing a deadly chain reaction crash. Let's see. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. This is his dash cam? Let's see.
Now take a look. This is exclusive dash cam video that is now the subject of several law enforcement investigations. Shows the moment a red semi-truck plowed into a number of vehicles on the westbound 10 freeway in Ontario just after 1 p.m. yesterday. The CHP told the LA Times the driver of this big rig is a 21-year-old man who is now under arrest on suspicion of driving under the influence of drugs. A total of 4 semis were involved and also 4 passenger vehicles, one of them exploding in flames. 3 people were killed and 4 others were taken to.
He only killed 3. It's not like he killed 4. Yeah, I guess you're right.
Happened just east of the 15 freeway and shut down all westbound lanes for more than 12 hours. Thousands of drivers were trapped in the gridlock just as the evening commute was getting underway. It also happened near the Ontario airport, so the crash likely delayed people that were trying to get to their flights. Now take a look at this.
Well, yeah, I mean, he definitely delayed the people that he killed. ICE confirmed they lodged a detainer for Singh, a criminal legal alien from India who took the lives of 3 innocent people. Wow. Mecklenburg County, North Carolina, a man on detainer for sexual assault. Mecklenburg County, North Carolina. Mecklenburg County, North Carolina, on Monday, Afrani Mulatto was arrested for indecent exposure to a minor, assault on a female, attempted forcible sex offense. Huh. Let's see. Oh, look, another white male. Another white male. Another white male. All these white males. Got to get these whites under control. Malando Afrain. Another white male. And then you got Cameron County, Texas, legal alien daycare worker indicted for hot car death. Illegal alien daycare worker indicted for hot car death of 4-year-old.
You may remember the incident happened in June and the little boy died. Karen Silva now going to federal detention in Laredo. The decision made during a court hearing today. Silva reportedly overstayed her visa. Her attorney says the goal is to get her released while she fights the charge. The Cameron County District Attorney is against that.
There's a very likelihood that she may be deported. And of course, we are against that as a community, is because if she were to be deported, that would be a travesty again for the family of baby Logan, would be re-victimized.
Her whole life is here. She has her 2 children who are American citizens living here. She has no desire to go back to Mexico. So our whole...
Wait a minute. Is it up? What the fuck do we care what her desire is? She's an illegal alien that caused the death of a 4-year-old. All right? She gets the fuck out. All right? She should go to prison and then get the fuck out. How's that work? Yeah, I believe you have zero control over those white people. Get it together, my man. I'm trying, dude. I'm doing the best I can. Where would he suffer more, in jail here or forced to live in India? Well, here's the thing. I don't believe that you should just deport them. If they committed a crime, they serve the time, and then right when they get released from prison, then they're immediately, when they get released from prison, it's right out of the country. That's how they get released. Out of the country. Serve the time for the crime, and then deported. That's how it works. All right. Yeah. Now we have to pay for lawyers, meals, corrections officers, transport to and from jail. Yeah, a round is less than $5 in a pew shop. Yeah. I mean, unless we're going to deport them to a country and that country's going to put them in jail. Like, I would have no problem if Mexico said, yeah, we're going to lock her up for 20 years in a Mexican prison. I'd be like, okay, let Mexico lock her up then. I mean, that's how it should work. And Banu Martinez, you said, get like a good logo, a banner, and animations. I mean, I have logos. I have these things that say, donate here for Cash App, donate for PayPal. I have a banner running across the bottom. I've got a sleeping dog. And then how can you let a sleeping dog lie? I mean, look, there's a dog there. I mean, look at that dog. I mean, how more pop can I get? I mean, this is better. I mean, I don't even have a shock collar on this dog. I mean, I'm no, Hassan Piker, but no shock collar. That's all I'll say about that. She can't take her kids with her. Yeah, I don't know. But this is like, oh, she doesn't want to be deported. Too fucking bad.
The goal today was to get her out of state custody and back to immigration custody.
Silva's attorney also says his client plans to continue her asylum application. Silva is one of 2 daycare employees charged in connection with the death of 4-year-old Logan Urbina.
Yeah, she gets no criminals don't get asylum. That's if you commit a crime, you're barred from asylum. Yeah, they can house them for half the price. Yeah, you know what? I honestly send her to fucking El Salvador. Let Bukele handle her. That's what I would do. Bye-bye. El Salvador for you. Bye-bye. We don't need any more. I mean, do we need to keep people? Do we need to keep people in this country? Don't we have enough people letting their kids fucking suffocate in hot cars? That we don't need to have people that are imported into the country to do it? I mean, is that a job now that Americans won't do? Americans won't let their kids suffer in a hot car, so we have to let people into the country? Oh, that is a lie. I do not give Bella Benadryl so she can pose for Bella Camp. That is an absolute lie. Bella. See? She's right there. She just sits right up. See? Hey, you're making me look bad. What are you doing? Come on. Alacant County, Florida, illegal alien arrested for sexual battery. Alachua. Oh, no, it's Alachua County, Florida. I don't know what the fuck, Alachua. Alien Ariel Rafael Vasquez Martinez was arrested in Harrison County, Mississippi to face charges of sexual battery on a victim 16 or 17. He's got that look, his physiognomy. And, white male. Here we go, another white male. Sexual assault and battery. This is why the numbers, I think, are all skewed. Race, white, male. Unlawful sexual activity with certain minors. Yeah. Travis County, Texas, illegal alien charged with murder, 2 others implicated. Last week, illegal alien Enrique Gomez Urbina was arrested for murder in connection with the shooting death of Mary Gonzalez. This guy. Waukesha County, Wisconsin. A woman on detainer arrested for hit and run of children. Waukesha County, Wisconsin on Saturday. Zulamar Barrios Alvarez was arrested after being accused of hitting two children riding a mini bike, sending them to the hospital and then driving away. Oh.
On Saturday, a car crashed into an 11-year-old boy and an 8-year-old girl riding a mini bike in the village of Lisbon. The 11-year-old boy remains in critical condition at this hour. Prosecutors charged Zuelimar Alvarez with hit and run and operating without a valid driver's license.
Cash bail is also warranted given the defendant hit these children and then drove away and had to be flagged down by neighbors to stop and render aid.
Prosecutors say federal immigration officials have placed a detainer request for Alvarez. The court set her bond at $50,000. On Saturday, a car crashed into an 11-year-old.
It looks like we got a new member. Yes. Hellfish Haven has become a new member. Thank you, Raiders. Lefty says, it wasn't much of a raid, I must say, but I sent you the ones I had. Hey, you know what? Every little bit helps, Lefty. Every little bit helps. And that membership, becoming a casual listener, takes us to just $70 now, away from a second additional hour. Well, thank you very much, Hellfish Haven, for that. Now we're just $70 away from a second additional hour. So if we get $70 in the next, say, 20 minutes or so, I know it says 10 minutes on the goal, but it's about 20 minutes. About 20 minutes until the end of the stream. If we get that, we will, she looks well fed, not just the dog. Yeah. Yeah, so that's what we'll do. We'll see, but we'll see what happens. Oh. We got this 23, Peach County, Georgia. 2 illegal aliens arrested for a rape of a 14-year-old. Wood chipper, wood chipper, wood chipper. 2 illegal aliens from Guatemala have just been arrested in Georgia. The pair are charged with sex trafficking a 14-year-old girl and repeatedly raping this child. The No Kings leftists demand that ICE stop deporting these depraved child predators. I think I'm going to be sick.
New tonight, we're learning 2 men here illegally face human trafficking charges in Fort Valley. Virgilio Vasquez and Napoleon Gomez, age 38, from Guatemala, are in jail tonight. They're charged with human trafficking, rape, and child molestation. Attorney General Chris Carr's office said the men targeted a 14-year-old, also from Guatemala. About a month ago, Carr's office said their gang prosecution unit picked up the men in Fort Valley with help from Byron Police and Peach County deputies. New tonight, we're learning 2.
Praying for a 14-year-old be okay. Then in Dakota County, Nebraska, a man on detainer arrested for child enticement. Nebraska earlier this month, Pablo Pineda Calderon was arrested for contributing to delinquency of a child and child enticement. He has an immigration detainer hold. So this person here, and let's see, child enticement in the first degree, booking date, doesn't say. It doesn't say. In Greenville, South Carolina, a man on detainer arrested for killing, burning the victim. Man accused of killing, burning victim, now on immigration detainer hold.
Bond denied for a suspect in connection to the murder of a Greenville County man. Investigators say Juan Lopez was arrested after a man's body was found burned on the side of this road Sunday night. Investigators say they arrested the suspect in Columbia and brought him back to Greenville County. Officials say the suspect came to Greenville and confronted the victim over a domestic-related dispute and killed him using blunt force trauma. Lopez then poured flammable liquid on the victim and set him on fire. The coroner identified that victim as Angel Lazaro Castillo. Lopez appeared before a judge this morning, and his bond was denied. Bond denied for a suspect in connection to the murder of a Greenville County man.
Bond denied. Then the previous edition of Illegal Aliens Roundup. So we saw this Illegal Aliens Roundup, the previous edition. We're not going to go through it because this was 2 weeks ago. This guy does this every 2 weeks. He gets a roundup of the top 25. So these are some that didn't make the list because they came in after the list was created. So we got this Wyandotte County, Kansas in September. Orlando Escobar Guardo was arrested for the rape of a child under 14. He has immigration detainer hold. So this guy raping a 14-year-old. It says today sheriff of the state of Kansas. They're going to get this guy for a felony, and he has rape and 14 years old, off-grid person felony. And right here, male, date of birth. Oh, he's another white guy from Salvadoran white guy. Another Salvadoran white guy out here raping kids. What do you know? Yeah. This looks like it would work for me, right? I think this is what we need. We need more proactive people out here taking care of the pedos. We got I knew some Guatemalan that grew up in the jungle. They were not fazed by violence. Yeah, no, it's not the same thing to certain people from certain areas. So Broward County, Florida, last week, Ivana Cristina Nobile was arrested for burglary and false imprisonment of a child. She was as an immigration detainer hold. Nobile is accused of approaching a grandmother and child at a gas station and attempting to take the child out of the back seat of the grandmother's car. The arrest affidavit reports that she stated, "I'm taking him. This child is the wrong color to be with this woman." Oh. Another white one. Here we go. Nobile Ivana Cristina. I mean, she could be from Europe or something. I don't know. Immigration hold. 5'4", 170 pounds. Wow, that's a big woman. She's lucky grandma wasn't armed in Florida. Stand your ground applies to vehicles well. This isn't Mexico, Honduras, Gaza, Iran, Iraq, Pakistan, Guatemala, Venezuela, Nigeria, or Haiti. This is America, and there are actual white people with mixed families all over the USA. Wonder who she voted for. Weird. Must be some confusion. Clearly, she got a race indoctrination from an American school. Where's all the white women at? Yeah. They're like cutting chicken and prayed to different gods. Yeah, she don't look crazy at all. Yeah, I'm sure Julio could fix her. Tulsa, Oklahoma. In August, Eric Jonathan Duenas Laveo was arrested for rape and a victim under 14. He has an immigration detainer hold. Why is the picture so blurry? I don't understand why the picture's so blurry. But we got another male Hispanic. Oh, look at this. Sometimes they get it right. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they feel like a nut. Sometimes they don't. Deport them all. Yes. Problem solved. Yes. Problem solved. That's the problem solver. And then we got this. Last week, an illegal alien Russian national Igor Ravinsky was arrested for lewd and lascivious battery of a victim 12 to 16. The sheriff's officer announced that a deputy found him on the back seat of a car with a 13-year-old girl. Through investigation, detectives learned the suspect made contact with the victim through Snapchat, then drove to Martin County to meet her in person. Yeah, okay, this is a white guy. I will admit, this is a white guy, and he should get the same treatment. Suspicious vehicle investigation leads to an arrest of a suspect sexual battery of a minor. While patrolling an Indian Town neighborhood, and deputy noticed a suspicious vehicle parked alongside Seminole Drive. After checking the car, the deputies discovered 40-year-old Igor Ravinsky in the back seat with a 13-year-old girl. Detectives learned the suspect made contact with the victim through Snapchat and drove to meet her in person. Who says he's undocumented from Russia, was taken into custody and charged with sexual battery in a minor. Yes. Male, white, yeah. Green eyes, brown hair, yeah. 175, 5'8". Yeah. We're gonna have to eat this one. All right, now a lot of people have been talking. We're gonna move away from this. We're gonna talk about some other stuff. A lot of people have been talking about Thomas Massey. Yeah, finally a white guy. Yeah, finally a white guy. Yeah. Yes, dear Lord. There is a guy running for sheriff in Arkansas who was shot and killed, and an ex-Leo who was abusing his minor daughter. I bet he gets elected. Yeah. I didn't know the guy was an ex-Leo that he shot, but he did. Yeah, the guy was arrested and everything for all this stuff, all the stuff that he was doing to the guy's daughter. There was an order of protection to keep him away and everything, and he heard some noise. He went and looked. His daughter was gone, and chased him down the road and caught him. And I guess they charged him because they shot him too many. He shot him too many times or something, or then pistol whipped him. Maybe I don't know. I'd say no harm, no foul. So this was we've been talking lately about Thomas Massey and how he changed, and it was weird because maybe it was his wife died and he was acting weird. Well, it turns out Thomas Massey's wife died in June 2024. They were married 27 years. I just subscribed, but Lefty got for Ed me to join, or he would claim I am a fake Arizonan. Glad he forced me to check out this channel. Well, Big Dog 578, I'm glad he did too, because we do this every night. Just about. Sometimes I take a night off a week. I might take one night off a week. Sometimes I'll go 2 weeks without a night off, but it depends. Usually I do this every night at 10 p.m. Eastern, around there. Sometimes a little later, sometimes a little earlier, but usually around 10 p.m. Eastern time every night. How do you shoot somebody too many times? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, the only reason to stop shooting them, according to my favorite sheriff, Grady Judd, is because we ran out of bullets. It takes a night off equals slacker. I know. But here, so Thomas Massey, talk about Thomas Massey now. His wife died June 2024, and rest in peace. With all my condolences. And then she died suddenly after 27 years. It was very unexpected, and like he seemed to change. Then he completely changed his appearance and his policy stances. He completely changed. He's already remarried to a woman nearly the age of the length of his marriage. Yes, he's married to a woman that's around 27 years old now, just got married. And we're supposed to all think this is normal. If my husband remarries a little over a year after I died, it's mysteriously, I would hope people who love me will have some questions. Yeah. He was charged, but he may not get to a jury. Yeah. I don't care for your politics. This is weird AF. It's okay to just ask questions about this. That's right. Please pray for us as Carolyn steps into the arena with me. With her support, I look forward to continuing my fight for freedom for the people of Kentucky. Yes, here's Thomas Massey's new wife that he just married. Very strange, isn't it? I mean, Massey has changed zero principles or his platform. He's never given a shit about Epstein until now. He votes with Democrats more than Republicans now. Yes, he's changed. We all see it. Like a Mary King posts. Yes. Nice and young. Yes, very young. She's under 30. And he's in his 60s. That's all. Just saying. Maybe this is why he's changed his stances. I mean, yeah, it wasn't that long since his wife died. Wow. Yeah. And obviously this has been going on for a while, Audra. I mean, were they sleeping together before his wife died? How did his wife exactly die? His wife died suddenly and strangely. It was very weird. Did his wife die the same way that Captain Kirk's wife died at the very deep end of the pool? And when he called 911, did he say, "Oh, my wife is at the bottom of the pool"? And they said, "Did you get her out?" He goes, "She's at the very deep end." Sus. I'm sure it's true love. She would have married him if he was a 9-to-5 average Joe. Remind us again who Thomas Massey is. The name is very familiar, but I recall he is the Republican from Kentucky, congressman who votes against everything Trump wants. Everything. Consistently. Votes with the Democrats on everything. Yeah, he met her 7 years ago. Yes, he met this woman 7 years ago. Yeah, he did change some viewpoints. Now I see a fishy situation. Yes, when I saw this, I said, "Oh, buddy, is she telling him what to do? Is this woman, basically using the old P power, if you know what I mean, the PUSSY power on him?" Just saying, I mean, I'm not going to begrudge a guy if his wife died and it was, and it was nothing, like if he didn't, if it was completely whatever, I would, and he met this woman and everything. I want him to be happy. I don't want anybody to be unhappy and go through life alone, but there's some things that just look a little odd. Yes. And none of your business. And to be fair, she could tell me what to do. Vince Foster. Yeah. Mitch McConnell is from there also. Kitty Power. Yes, Kitty Power. Yeah, Mitch is sus. Kitty Power. Yep, definitely. But so Rhonda died 16 months ago. Zero loyalty, no allegiance, devotion none, vows before the Almighty, 4 children. 1 year, 4 months, 7 days, and you post this shit to social media? How am I the only one that sees this as a huge fucking red flag? Carolyn and I would like to announce our recent marriage. We were legally married in Kentucky on October 19th by a pastor of the church we have been attending for several months. So they're going to a new church they've been going to. He's a new church that he's been going to for several months, so a new church with her. This weekend we celebrated with close friends and family at the Christian wedding ceremony in Pennsylvania where Carolyn is from. Carolyn Grace Maffa and I first met professionally over a decade ago when she worked for Senator Rand Paul. As Senator Paul's AG policy staffer or AG, I don't know if it's AG or AG, until 2016, Carolyn was a very early proponent and practitioner of making America healthy again. She even visited me and my late wife Rhonda on our grass-fed cattle farm several years ago. Carolyn has not previously been married. I have 4 adult children who are all married to wonderful people and 3 grandchildren. My blessed 31-year marriage to Rhonda, who is still I miss every day. We will reside on the farm in Kentucky where Carolyn recently helped me reestablish ducks and chickens to go with the beef cattle. We plan to travel back and forth to D.C. throughout Kentucky as my congressional responsibilities require. Fun facts about our wedding. We served raw milk with the wedding cake and margaritas made with frozen peaches from our farm. Senator Rand Paul and Representatives Jim Jordan, Warren Davidson, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and Victoria Spartz attended. However, the real VIPs were my 3 grandkids. My oldest grandson was the ring bearer. I proposed to Carolyn on the steps of the Library of Congress, which was the location of our first date. Please pray for us as Carolyn steps into the arena with me. With her support, I look forward to continuing the fight for freedom. Yeah, a decade ago when she was barely adult. Yeah, she was probably like an 18 or 19-year-old staffer, whatever, intern, like remind you of like a Monica Lewinsky that was working for someone, and then he ran into her, and he got her real young. Yeah, Jesus, yes, a decade ago. Yeah. This is uber sus, man. Uber sus. Uber sus. Uber sus. Money bomb, love bomb. By the way, we met Carolyn. You met Carolyn at the gun range fundraiser. We were low key. Best wishes for both of you. I'm sorry for your loss. Massey was a public servant elected official. He just disclosed the menu and details of his recent writings to a 36-year-old only 16 months after his wife's mysterious death. I thought she was under 30. He has a responsibility to tell his constituents and publicly why his wife died suddenly. Marjorie Taylor Greene. Oh, congratulations. A wonderful reception. This is the same Marjorie Taylor Greene who says that we shouldn't deport illegal aliens that work in construction because she needs them to work for her for slave wages. Yeah. Hey, look, I got a new wife less than 1 year after your wife dies. It's awesome, isn't it, Allegan News? Kind of sus, though, isn't it? I think it's sus. His new wife is probably the same age as his grandkids. No, the new wife is younger than his kids, though. Yeah, MTG is garbage. His new wife is younger than his kids. My detractors, all I know will be, think about the popular show 16 and Pregnant. Well, you can't have 16 and Pregnant when all 15 and fucking. So these two married 16 months after Rhonda's death. How long was the courtship? Do some math, for fuck's sake. Half of you bitches would wait 4 years before you're replacing your dog. 16 months? I don't give a fuck what kind you say or what you try to rationalize. This is fucked up. All the word salad and mental gymnastics are not going to change that. You're wrong. They met over a decade ago while she was working for Rand Paul. You people are retarded. You lack discernment. I'll bet all my possessions that your spouse is fucking your best friend and you don't even know it. Ask to see where your spouse's phone is right now and watch them hesitate. Not the white knight here, but all his kids are in their mid to late 20s and early 30s, and the vows are till death do us part. It's not something I'd personally do, but I'm not outraged. If his kids weren't adults, it'd be an issue, but realistically, he's already a grandpa. 16 months, they didn't just now meet at the altar. There was some courtship involved, almost like this guy couldn't wait to get back in the saddle. Yeah, I'm not saying I wouldn't move on. I would do it insanely privately. This is disrespectful. Mm-hmm. She was on DeSantis' presidential staff. They traveled with him during the campaign. It's as bad as Newt dropping his ex when she had cancer, if I recall. 36, never married is a red flag, too. That is a red flag. He graduated by MIT, but nothing suspicious about marrying this quick. Yeah. He died suddenly, clot shot. I would think I would think that she didn't I would think that she didn't drop, but they didn't take the shot. I didn't think Massey was I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. And it says, bro, you don't know the kind of conversations he had with his late wife, and you weren't in a relationship. There's only one place for judgment. Oh, so now this guy is basically saying that they were screwing around. You know, that they're probably screwing around. The wife knew about it. Traveled. Mm-hmm. We got this. Blanking the heart attack gun like Andrew Breitbart. Could be. The red state of Florida is eyeing redrawing its 2026 congressional map to add a whopping 3 to 5 Republican seats, removing 3 to 5 Democrats as a result. Gavin Newsom's California map is made up to give Democrats +5. Florida alone can cancel out Gavin. Then we have Ohio, Texas, North Carolina, Missouri, Indiana. Keep pushing. Keep pushing. Yeah, maybe his late wife was okay with it. What was the cause of her death? Nobody knows. Nobody knows what she died from. The fucking death certificate has not been made public. It's under seal. Nobody knows. Let's go. Democrats concerned for democracy. Yeah, look at all these seats. You know, Massachusetts, 36% Republican, 0 seats. Connecticut, 22% Republican, 0 seats. Maine, 46% Republican, 0 seats. New Mexico, 46% Republican, 0 seats. New Hampshire, 48% Republican, 0 seats. Rhode Island, 42% Republican, 0 seats. Vermont, 32%, 0. Hawaii, 38%, 0. Delaware, 42%, 0. If my wife died, I don't think I would find, date, and marry a new woman in less than a year. I mean, that's fast. I mean, the mourning, how long does mourning take? Autoimmune disorder? Maybe. Immune disorder? Okay. Out of the 120 seats in 6 states listed below, Republicans only hold 24 seats while having an average 42% of the vote. 9 seats with 40% of the vote in California, 44%, 3 seats in Illinois only for 44%. In New York, 7 seats with 43%. Maryland, 1 seat with 8%, with 34% vote. I'm sorry. New Jersey, 46%, only 3 seats. In Oregon, 41% Republican, only 1 seat. He had her ready to go. Plural marriage is now a moderate viewpoint. Shaking my head. But it's starting to seem like it really is. And we got this story. Americans are furiously demanding Governor Gavin Newsom intervene after Gold's Gym in L.A. terminated the membership of an angry woman who saw a men's big D's in the female locker room. Props to her. What the hell, Gavin? Fix this.
Gold's Gym! Men! Grown men with big dicks in the women's locker room. And that's why I'm getting kicked out. And I want to make sure the girls know. The fuck? Everybody saw that man in the fucking locker room. No one's saying shit. And I'm fucking done with it. It's fucking stupid. It's dangerous. Me naked in front of a man without my permission. But I ain't the one who gets kicked out the gym, y'all. I'm terminated for not wanting men in the locker room.
How are you?
Did you tell me or not that women like to see dick?
I'm asking you a fucking question.
Exactly, exactly.
Okay.
Get out of the way now. No, now he knows how to be a man, right? Now he knows how to be a man. Stay out of the women's locker room. We don't want it. He needs to have his gym membership revoked for that shit. And the woman told you. He assaulted me. The girl told already. We already filed reports. No.
That's fine. I want the video.
You can't get rid of me for this. I'm a woman and I have every right to not want a man in the restroom when I'm naked. There are girls naked in there. Look at them walking in there like it's okay. It's not okay. I understand. I'm not calling.
Here's another video. The end of the video is most powerful. This woman has been violated. You can see it in her face and feel it in her voice. She's gone from anger to sadness.
I just had the worst experience ever at the gym, at Gold's Gym, and I think this is probably happening at gyms across America, where like trans women are going into the women's locker room and not really caring about how women feel about it. And it's really hurtful, yo. Like, how you gonna say you want to be a woman or that you are a woman, but you don't give a fuck how women feel? Today I was naked in the locker room. I turn around and there's a man there in boy clothes, lip gloss, standing there looking at me. I'm butt naked. So the first thing I think is maybe there's a worker in here. Maybe I missed a sign. I say the word sir to say, sir, what are you doing in here? He goes, don't fucking talk to me. I'm a woman. I have a right to be in here. Immediately, I'm fucking pissed because I'm butt naked. I feel violated. I feel like weird. Like, I don't want to deal with this, right? So the girls are walking in and they're seeing the commotion and they actually chime in and say, yo, I don't know why he's in here. He's not supposed to be in here. And then I talk to the people that work at Gold's Gym and they don't really have anything to do. They just like, oh, we can file a report about it, incident report. What the fuck is going on? Like, listen, how can you say you're a woman or you want to be a woman and you don't care how women feel? That's nothing more manly than not giving a fuck about how women feel, I'd like to think. And I get it, like, everybody has their own things, and I don't want to say that I know everything about gay rights or trans rights. I'm a lesbian. I've been a lesbian my whole life. I treat people how I want to be treated regardless of whatever their sexual orientation is or whatever they decide. So I'm not transphobic and I'm not homophobic. I'm not straightphobic. I'm not racist. None of these things. I just believe in treating people how I want to be treated. Why do you guys think it's okay for men to be in the women's restroom? And like, when is the cutoff point? Is it like, oh, you cut off your penis, you can come in here? Why aren't women making the laws? And if you really want to fucking be safe and feel good, why don't we just make trans restrooms? Because it ain't right. The way I feel right now. And don't come into my comments about he gay, he ain't looking at you. I don't give a fuck, bro. It's about a feeling, yo. Like, if you never been a little girl who been touched or been through some shit, you won't understand that feeling. And you've never been a little girl.
We already saw who's paying. It's J.B. Pritzker's cousin or sister, whoever it is, Jennifer Pritzker, who's actually a man. It's paying for all this stuff. He's using all his money, the billionaire money from the hotels, to pay for this shit. That's who's pushing it in America. The Pritzkers. Billions of dollars. All right. Secondly, that dude in the bathroom is not gay. He thinks he's a woman, and he probably claims he's a lesbian, and he wants to look at women. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Let the trans have their own damn locker room. What's going to end up happening, more than likely, the best way to solve this is just no longer have group locker rooms. Have all individual rooms, like individual bathrooms. No more big bathrooms. It's just an individual bathroom for one person only. That's it. Have multiple of them. It's going to cost more money, but it's going to, that's the way to solve this problem. Have no more multiple bathrooms. If somebody walks into the bathroom and you're in there, you treat them like they're trying to assault you because it's a single-use bathroom. That's the best way to handle it. Yeah, like changing rooms. Yeah, just have single rooms. That's it. That's the way to solve it. It sucks, and for like schools and stuff, the way in places, because it's going to be a lot more expensive because you have to have multiple rooms then. But that's what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to get away from it. Either that, or you're going to have to say like a special bathroom just for the trans people. But then they're going to say, oh no, we want to use the bathrooms like everyone else. You can't just have like a men's, a women's, and then others. I guess you could do that, but then is that going to fly? I don't know. This is the person that says, I'm so tired. Black woman was kicked out of Gold Gyms in Los Angeles because she complained about a man using a woman's locker room. This is crazy. Crazy. Do like the Europeans do, unisex bathrooms with doors to the floors. Yeah, And then Elon Musk says, it's not crazy to require proof of citizenship to vote in any country's election. Americans want proof of citizenship for voter registration. This is a Gallup poll from 2024. Proof of citizenship for voter registration. Look at this. 83% of people favor it, only 15% oppose. All right. Why is this not the law? I mean, how is this a thing that Democrats are being able to fight, and stop? This is insane. Dad, why is this big ass lady in here? I don't know, man. I'm just saying. Maybe get rid of all the large bathrooms. That's the best way to handle it, personally, is to just have single bathrooms, single use, one toilet, a sink, that's it. And one person. Or you bring a kid in or do something. Yeah, she just found out LGBT trumps her black privilege. But she said she's a lesbian. And she said she's not transphobic, but she's just like, why do I have to look at a dick? I'm in the bathroom. Which is like, well, I guess you are. They're trying to make that be transphobic. If you don't want to see dicks in a girl's bathroom, you're a transphobe. That's the new rules. I didn't make the rules. I didn't make them. Okay. And this is another poll that was taken, which I wanted to get to tonight. It says Trump blowing up drug smugglers is a 70-30 issue. Do you support or oppose the U.S. destroying boats bringing drugs into the United States from South America? 71 to 29. You 56% of Democrats support blowing up the drug boats. 89% of the GOP and 67% of the independents. I mean, it kind of seems like this is, people support it. I mean, as long as it's done on international waters, I don't see why it's not legit legal. But I don't know. I don't have an answer. And then Elon Musk weighs in on this, and he says it's very important to appreciate that the debate is not about whether illegal aliens will sway future U.S. elections due to census apportionment, but just by how much. Left-leaning organizations like Pew Research represent the low end of estimates. And it says, by the numbers, Democrats have gained around 50 fraudulent congressional seats due to illegal aliens. 760,000 people per seat and 40 million illegals. That's the low numbers. That's low numbers. Audra says, wait, if I'm naked in a women's locker room, no, I don't want someone with a peen standing there watching me. Had they worded the question, do you support Trump blowing up the drug boats, the Democrats would all oppose. Maybe. If they had a real Republican Congress, they would have passed mandatory nationwide voter ID and banned illegals from being counted in the census the day after Trump took office. They still haven't even passed voter ID. The GOP Congress is an absolute joke. Yeah, votes, not votes. I got it. I know what you meant. I got it. The left will resort to violence to get their way. See? The left. See, both sides commit violence. See? Look at this story. Look at this. More than 41,000 Wisconsin voter registrations don't match driver ID database. Huh. How could that be? How is that possible? How is it possible if they don't match? An increasing number of Wisconsin voter registration information does not match information from the state's Department of Transportation. There are more than 41,000 voter registrations in the state without matching Department of Transportation records, such as a driver's license or identification card, a number that is nearly double the total from 2020, according to the Wisconsin Election Commission data acquired by Wisconsin Institute for Law and Liberty. The data required by the Help America Vote Act was denied further information from the database to verify that the specific discrepancies were. They include 11,000 registrations without a driver's license number, up from 4,885 in 2020, and 24,000 cases where a name does not fully match Wisconsin information, up from 15,000 in 2020. They're really packing them in there in Wisconsin. We are not in any way saying these 40,000 votes were fraudulent. We don't know. We don't even know if these 40,000 names were even voters in the election. We know that they're on the voter registration list, and it's certainly likely, of course, that some of them voted. But we don't know because we don't know who voted, and we don't know what all the discrepancies are. And it could be something innocuous. It could be something more serious. But our point is, in this letter, is just saying that it's serious enough that questions need to be answered, and we need a little more transparency from the government. They sent a follow-up letter to the Department of Justice on the issues earlier this fall to take a deeper look. The Waukesha County judge ruled in an unrelated case earlier this month that the WEC must check voter registration information with state identification information to ensure the voter rolls are accurate, but a stay was placed on that ruling until the results of a hearing scheduled for 10:30 on Friday. The WEC data showed that the name and date of birth don't match on 680 registrants, just the date of birth doesn't match on 3,100, and there are no matches for 22,000 registrations. WILL has urged WEC to explain why it has different process to vet online voter registration information than handwritten forms. What are they doing to ensure the integrity of our voter registration list? There's a real question for WEC. If they have this information, then they are aware of this discrepancy. What are they doing with it? We'd like to know. WEC has said that online registrations are blocked if information does not match, such as a voter's name, date of birth, license number, or residency, but it simply said that a separate process used for paper registrations. So if someone fills out a paper registration, they just take their information and do it. So anyway, all right. Well, folks, I tried to stick around, see if we were going to make that extra, but we're not even close. We're still 70 away. So I guess we're going to call it a night. Calls it a night. Yeah. What we're going to do. And we're going to see everybody again on Tuesday. You know, when that happens, know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying? All right. And everybody will be sent over to see my good friend, Nick Ricada, and tell him I said hi when you get over there. Jim, didn't you say your birthday was coming up? No, my birthday was already passed. My birthday was in August. We had a big birthday celebration. There was a whole bunch of people here. Andrew Bronca was here. Joe was here. Drex was here for my birthday. A whole bunch of people were here for my birthday. So, DHS office gives voter registration in Arkansas. Well, that's good. That's good. So, thanks. If you wanna rate it out, neurodivergent one or whatever, over to Ricada's stream or whoever you want to go to. So, but yeah, that's where YouTube is going to Ricada. So everyone have a nice night. Come on back on Tuesday for Jim to tell you the news.